If you're already married, maybe it's time for Santa to upgrade your ring this year. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is voted best jeweler and best place to buy a diamond. We've made Christmas dreams come true since 1948. After all, every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, save 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 years. Hurry, sale ends November 30th, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCNC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. We have a beautiful day on our hands left over from the weekend. We'll see a high of 70 under mostly sunny skies this afternoon. It won't be as chilly tonight. We'll see a low of 52, but increasing clouds. A front passes by early tomorrow. It's going to bring in some showers in the morning, but back to some sunshine in the afternoon with a high of 68.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock, checking for money. Dow Jones is up 400 points today to 44,697. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Here's the snap. The throw to the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. The RPO. It's David Moore. The snap. Give to Chuba. Right side. Chuba plows into the end zone. Carolina, a 2-point conversion from tying it up. Young motions David Moore. The snap. It's Chuba plowing forward. Conversion good. We're tied at 27 with 1:46 to go.
On Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. Happy Monday to you. Happy Thanksgiving week to you. Happy Victory Monday to you. We got the good, the bad, and the ugly across the triangle over the weekend.
We really did.
Ugly, you might say, UNC getting smoked on the football field to BC. The good, you might call the solid wins by UNC basketball, NC State basketball. The great, something like a Duke win over Arizona, something like a Carolina Panthers taking the Chiefs down to the wire. And if you're looking for more ugly, the Canes have a goalie situation on their hands. There's the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to get to it all. But I should let you know, 3:30 we'll be opening up the phone lines, a little Monday sound off. Whether you were paying attention to the good, the bad, or the ugly, we want to hear from you. 3:30 we'll open up the phone lines. Whatever you want to talk about, wherever you want to drive the conversation, we want to hear from you. Monday sound off at 3:30. Right now, credit where it's due. Shout out to Bryce Young. Shout out to Bryce Young. We're going to update the Bryceometer for the first time in a long time. Something we used to do on the show. Every week during his rookie year, we would update the Bryceometer, which was basically our confidence level in Bryce. We're updating it today because it's as high as it's been in a very long time. Bryce Young, my confidence in him is as high as it's been in a very long time. If you're on our YouTube live stream, you see it. If not, you'll see it on our YouTube post later on. I'll explain it to you. Our confidence level, if we count the entire scale as 100%, we're at like 75, 80%. 75. I don't want to go up to 80. 75%. We call it Bryce of America Stadium. One slice below, we're going to be forever young. This is a big step, and it all comes down to one thing. Ironically, it is the intro to our cons and cons segment we do often. You're going to need one thing: confidence. The player is confident. I'm going to have to give a bit of a I'm sorry to Dave Canales later on in the show, because I don't believe he handled it the right way. I would not have handled the quarterback situation the way he has this year, but there is no arguing that Bryce Young, despite the benching, despite the dangling the starting job in front of him for so long, is a much more confident player now than he was at the beginning of the year. It is obvious. Coaching staff needs credit for that. Whether I agree with the mechanisms or the processes or not, the end result is what they were going for. Congratulations. Dave Canales spoke to the media after the game about Bryce Young proving himself. This is what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to make any statements. He's making it for himself. You know, he's continued to show us the progress we're looking for, bringing our skill players to life, you know. Xavier played the X position today, so just kudos to Xavier as well, just taking on a new role and finding some success there. You know, a couple plays he'd love to have back, I'm sure. He'll be the first to tell you. But, you know, talking about Bryce, you know, it's the coaching staff, it's his teammates. You know, he's showing us, you know, what he can do when he's out there.
So we can expect him to start next Sunday?
Absolutely.
Love that from Dave Canales. I made my little concession. Feels like that's him reaching across the aisle to me and saying, I will name him the starter right after the game. We are mind melding after a near loss to the Chiefs. This is how far Bryce Young has come. This is why I boosted the Bryceometer. This is why I'm as confident as I've been in him in a very long time. Do you remember, and I know you do, but I'm just setting it up. Do you remember how shell-shocked he looked early in games at the start of the year? I mean, the first pass of his season was intercepted, and he missed high over the middle, which tells me he's not confident, not stepping into it, maybe let go of it early. We could quarterback nerd about it, but let's just say he looked shell-shocked early in games. It didn't even feel like he had to play bad in order to look rattled, right? It just was he started rattled, which was the issue. Now look at the situation he was put in yesterday. Look at the situation he was put in yesterday. Coach still hadn't named him the starter forever, just said he was a starter for this game. He goes in, takes the field against the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs, seemingly before the game started, get a nice kick return and a wide open, easy as pie, 35-yard touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes.
Three plays.
Three plays. And the last one, I mean, it's like you're guarding Steph Curry, and he gets to, like, catch the ball at the three-point line. No one's around him. Rotate the basketball, get the fat part of the seams on the basketball, and he drills it, and you're just like, great, we don't need to get him going, but now we did. You gave Patrick Mahomes a layup of a 35-yard touchdown pass. Offense goes out there. There's actually reason to be rattled. There's reason to be like, oh, gosh, we're going to have to score 50. Guess what he did? I have the actual, because I went back and looked at it. We went back and watched the drive again, and then went back and just looked at the play-by-play, because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any, like, little hints of indecisiveness from him. Boom. First play, complete to Adam Thielen, 8 yards. Run for no gain. Running game didn't get going super hot early. Third down, third and short, 15-yard completion. Love it. Third down, get the first, get the drive moving. Then, maybe the best ball he threw all day. Deep ball over the shoulder to Xavier Legette. Let's just call it a dime and say, that's how you answer. Gets him down into the red zone. Run for 4 yards. That's a successful first down play. Short completion for 2 yards. Little gadget play. Didn't love the call, but you're going to do what you're going to do. Penalty on 3rd and 4. Makes it 3rd and 9. Incomplete, field goal made. Without that penalty, which, let's be real, you're going up against one of the best defenses in the NFL, and you have a quarterback that is developing every week, you'd like to not have a false start, kick you from 3rd and 4 to 3rd and 9. Without that penalty, I believe Bryce Young matches Kansas City right out of the gate. I believe it's a touchdown for a touchdown. Now compare that to the shaken from the get-go quarterback we watched in the first 2 games. Compare that. Bryce Young threw for 106 yards in the first quarter. That is his career high in an opening quarter.
There's games where he doesn't even have 106.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking more like that's true. That's true.
This season.
I'm with you. I'm not negating you at all. I'm just saying I was looking at it. I'm so hyped and so Carolina blue colored glasses that I'm seeing that and just going, that means he's pushing it downfield. That means he came out the gate, didn't need to warm up, didn't need 4 short completions before they could test him down low or deep down the field. And you're just like, yeah, remember how bad he was? And I'm like, yeah, that's true too. But that's another comparison. Bryce Young after the game talked about building from the loss against Kansas City.
Again, just watching the film, seeing what we did well, how we can continue to be consistent with that, continue to execute, and then, there's still a lot of things that we can clean up. Throughout the week, we got to be diligent in learning, locking on the plan, for next week, and, just continue to keep trusting and playing for each other.
Now, I am a firm believer in no moral victories. Like, if you're keeping score, there's only one way to get a victory, and that's to win. Game like that's going to test that theory. Game like that's making me go, I said no moral victories. I said absolutely none. I didn't say except for very specific situations. Like, I painted myself complete. There's no outs here. I'm in the corner. I was as close to a moral victory as you can get. Bryce Young finished 21 of 35, 263 yards and a touchdown with no turnovers. That's good. That's very good.
I think it was his best game he's played in a Panther uniform. I know he had more yards last year in the game against the Green Bay Packers. I fully understand it. I felt like this was his most complete game.
I think this is the first time I can say, soundly, the performance was way better than the numbers. He's had games where it's like, that's pretty good. That's I liked that, but this one it's good and it could have been better. There were a decent amount of straight up drops, and there were a decent amount of, come on, man, make a play for your quarterback. Like
Tommy Trumbull,
not seen as maybe a straight up drop, like the Xavier Lee get over the shoulder. That to me is just I knew I shouldn't eat popcorn. Like, that's just a straight up drop. Then there were a few where it's like, if I don't even think that's 50-50 ball. I think that's like a 70-30 ball. Like, you come down with it, help out your quarterback. It might not technically be a drop, but you could have helped him out. And that turns 21 out of 35 for 263, 1 touchdown, into maybe 25 of 35. Over 300, multiple touchdown passes, and then, you're getting picked up in fantasy next week.
Totally different game.
Then it's not only a different game, might have been the difference between the win and loss, but a completely different, hey, I didn't watch the game, but I checked the stat sheet report on Bryce Young, which around the league is what a lot of people are doing for Panther games.
Yeah.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings Sportsbook. The NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways of getting into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? You have an answer? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing the rebounds? Do you have an answer? If you do, get behind those answers. Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. For the first time, if you're getting to DraftKings for the first time, I should say, new customers right now bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD at sign-up. That's code TIMD, no spaces, at sign-up for new customers, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. We'll take a break. When we come back, not only are we getting closer to Monday sound-off and your calls, but also UNC got smoked by Boston College on the football field. What happened? We'll autopsy the situation next.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Natchez heads up. Back to Orlov. He scores! A 1-2 punch from Dmitry Orlov. It's 3-2 on Orlov, second of the game.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance up front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
A new game has landed in North Carolina. Officials are calling this new species of game Cash Pop. So easy to play, it's out of this world. Reports confirm you just pick and match one number to win up to $2,500. With 5 drawings every day, cash landings have been cited across the state. So be on the lookout for Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. The wins are out there. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds chart at nclottery.com for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer, or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. Not available in Washington State.
It's Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Get a head start on Black Friday all month long with exclusive deals. Right now, get 25% off select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees just in time for the holidays. And get a free select tool when you buy a select battery or combo kit. So don't wait to save. Shop these deals in-store or online now because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/21 through 11/27 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. Black Friday starts now. Trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for Watch and Tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Culliver can make something happen on the return. Oh, yes, he can. Across the 30. He gets around Connor. Chris Culliver to the other 30, and he's going the distance. Culliver takes it to the house to get the Tar Heels on the board.
Woo! Good play.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You found the UNC highlight. Way to go.
Yeah, the 95-yard kick return, which was a heck of a play.
It was a heck of a play. Made it 17-7. Offense didn't score until we're looking at actually I have it right here.
Mid-fourth quarter?
Yeah. Yeah, actually a little bit less. How rough is that?
Yeah, pretty bad.
Looking at 2 minutes and 9 seconds left in the fourth quarter. I didn't realize it was that late.
Yeah, it was.
And then they scored again to make it look serviceable. But in actuality, 41-7 is kind of what I count that game as.
Basically.
UNC loses to Boston College. UNC didn't show up against Boston College. When you're down 17-0, the only thing you're doing is looking for a spark. Something to get your team going because obviously you haven't shown up. You get the 95-yard kick return. You look up spark in the dictionary. It says any kick return over 90 yards. You get it. Doesn't change anything at all. UNC didn't show up against Boston College, and that points squarely to the coaches and the veteran leaders on that team. Somebody didn't get you ready. Mentally, emotionally, somebody didn't get you ready. And it's frustrating to me because after the 3-game run that they went on, right? They had a 4-game losing streak, then a 3-game winning streak. Granted, not against the best competition, but neither was Boston College. They won the 3 straight, and I came on this show and praised Mac Brown and the coaching staff. Said he still has his fastball and motivation. Look at that. The team was on the brink of giving up, and I don't see how you wouldn't be with that 4-game losing streak and the JMU loss and the Duke loss mixed in there. They had some really rough games. But Mac Brown motivated them, kept them locked in, started giving the ball to Omari and Hampton more, and they won 3 straight. After all that praise, saying he was able to keep them locked in, that was the most not locked in I've seen that team in a very long time. Mac Brown asked after the game how surprised he was by the blowout loss.
I'm really surprised. We'll have some positive guys that played really well. That's what you do. I remember one time we got beaten a game, and I said we quit. And Coach Royal called me on the way home and said, you can't ever say your team quit, because some of them played hard and some of them played great, and there's too many that play to say your team quit. So I thought they played hard. They kept trying. I thought they were frustrated some. They were disappointed some, but I didn't think they tried hard.
BC was not a better team. I watched them from a physical ability and execution standpoint. I don't think they're a better team. They just played way better. And that may sound like I don't know, jibber jabber, like just complete nonsense. Anyone that's ever played sports knows what that's like. They're not better than us. They played better than us.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't even want to say that post-game because you sound like you're sorry apples or something like that. But it's true in this one. They're not better than you. They just played better than you. And it was dramatic, and it was obvious, and it was a difference of a million miles. There's not a team in sports that should be more inclined to start games completely locked in than UNC. Do you know why? Because when you get ahead, you can lean on what you do best. And when you fall behind, you have to depend on what you don't do very well. UNC, if they get ahead early or it's close early, boom, Omari and Hampton, running game, offensive line, firing out of their stance, moving bodies, defense gets to pin their ears back in a pass rush that at times has not been very good, but has been when they've gotten the leads in recent games, gets to pin their ears back and go get after the quarterback. Now, if you fall behind early like they did against Boston College, you're inclined to put the ball into the hands of Jacoby Criswell in the passing game, which is fine when the defense is selling out to stop the run, but when they know it's a passing down, they struggle in the passing game a little bit. Not ideal. Bunch of interceptions in this one. And on the other side, right now, the Kamen Ruckers and the guys who you want to have their ears pushed or pinned back rushing the passer now have to be a little bit more conservative. They have to worry about stopping the run. It's not an obvious passing down, and they're more likely to give up a bunch of points, which they did. And then you get, shout out to my fans of the movie The Replacements, you get your quicksand. One bad thing happens, another bad thing, you struggle, you try harder, which Mac Brown was talking about, is they didn't stop trying. Now, the issue is there's no 14, 15, 24-point play out there, and the harder you try to make it all up in one, the more likely you are to throw the pick six that breaks your back. You're more likely you are to miss the tackle because you're trying to force the fumble. The more likely you are to make the mistake that leads to the nail in the coffin, and there were plenty of them.
Before you know it, you're in over your head.
Before you know it, you're in over your head. Shout out to Shane Falco. Omari and Hampton with 11 carries. That's borderline negligence. That's like malpractice. But once you get down by a bunch, it is tempting to sling it all over the place and say, let's get a couple first downs, then hit them with Omarion. And if you don't get those first downs, you never get to the then, right? Let's get this drive moving. Let's pick up a chunk play. Then get them running once they're tired and they can't sub. And I'm going like, Omari and Hampton's never a bad idea. First down, second down, third down. 11 carries, malpractice. Even if you looked at last week when you gave him 40 touches or last game when you gave him 40 touches and you went, little high, got a little carried away. Let's rein it in. Rein it into 30 touches. Don't rein it into 11 carries. By the way, he still averaged roughly 5 yards per carry. I've never seen this guy be anything less than efficient. I don't see. Actually, we'll go with this. 5.9, I believe, was the yards per completion, or yards per attempt, I should say. That's passing. Yards per attempt rushing for Amari Hampton, 4.8. You're not giving up a ton by running the ball. If you need to come back and pick up chunk yardage, there's nothing wrong with doing so through the run. We've actually seen a couple teams do it. We've seen Georgia Tech do it a few times over the last couple years. We saw Duke do it against UNC earlier this year, where you fall behind and instead of saying, let's sling it around, let's pick it up quick, you say, you know what, let's make sure we put our best foot forward on every drive, even if that's running the ball. As long as we get points and stops, it doesn't matter. That was a really, really rough game for North Carolina. That was a really, really rough look for the coaching staff of North Carolina. They had the opportunity to backdoor an 8-win season. And then even further backdoor, depending on the bowl game, a 9-win season. You beat Boston College, which is not crazy, right? They've already benched their quarterback. They're in a transition, new coach, trying to implement new things. They're not anything to write home about. You beat Boston College, and you have a rivalry game. We all know craziness that can happen there. Then a bowl game, you could have backdoored an 8 or 9-win season. Instead, it feels like you took 3 steps forward during that 3-game win streak and like 6 steps back against Boston College. That's a tough one to answer. It's a really tough one to answer. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you want to sound off about UNC, feel free. If you want to sound off about the Canes, who have their first losing streak of the season, feel free. If you want to sound off in a positive light. Or maybe you're saying we're too positive about the Panthers because they lost still. We're going to open up the phone lines. Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. We do this every Monday. It's called Monday Sound Off. We want you to sound off on whatever you're reacting to in the sports world. 919-860-5326. That's the number to call in. Call in right now. We'll take callers beginning right out of the break. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
Come on, Coach. I know it's tough. Just squeezed out that. Yeah, he's doing it for us. He is the giant non-disposable straw that is stirring the drink, because you do not want Marty Natchez melting down like a cardboard straw in a milkshake.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey everybody, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. You can tackle the NFL action on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers can still get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins on tonight's game. And for Monday Night Football, it's a banger. Baltimore and the LA Chargers. Think about a same-game parlay for the matchup. How about a Derrick Henry anytime touchdown? Maybe Ladd McConkey, 50-plus yards receiving, and Justin Herbert, 200-plus yards in the air for the Chargers. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul. Paul with a capital P, and make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21-plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Gift an icon this holiday season, the Omega Speedmaster, known as the Moonwatch. This legendary timepiece made history as the only watch selected by NASA to withstand the extreme environment of space, and was worn by the legendary astronauts on the first journey to the moon. With its timeless design and unmatched durability, the Omega Speedmaster continues to inspire adventure seekers worldwide. Find your perfect Speedmaster at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best jeweler. Learn more at baileybox.com.
Drive-through car washes are quick, but a mobile detailer gets to the nitty-gritty. Autobell Car Wash is the sweet spot between both. We quickly clean your car from the inside out to save you time. Get the app at autobell.com.
Attention Canes fans, your Carolina Hurricanes are calling on you to bring the energy to Lenovo Center. Get ready to immerse yourself in the electrifying atmosphere of the loudest house in the NHL. Join us in the stands to witness thrilling goals, epic hits, and be a part of the heart-pounding action. Don't miss out as we continue our quest for the cup. From the first puck drop to the final horn, there's nonstop excitement at every Carolina Hurricanes game. Secure your tickets now at hurricanes.com/tickets. Let's go Canes.
'Tis the season for family and friends. 'Tis the season for gifting. And 'tis the season for making holiday dreams come true. 'Tis the season for using the old-timey contraction 'tis. And 'tis the time of year for holiday scratch-offs. With over $85 million in total prizes, 'tis the best gift of all.
'Tis the season to gift endless joy with holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.06 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, save 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 years. Hurry, sale ends November 30th, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Global Golf, home to the best deals in golf, has all the best holiday gifts for the golfer in your life. Get huge deals like pre-owned drivers starting at $50 and golf shirts starting at $15. Plus special savings on this year's hottest clubs from TaylorMade, Callaway, and more. Global Golf Retail Store located on 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Home to the world's largest selection of pre-owned golf gear.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for a Monday sound off. There was a lot to sound off on over the weekend, so we have officially opened the phone lines, 919-860-5326. It is the Heister Automotive Group hotline, and we've opened up the phone lines to you to use as you see fit. Obviously, I will react to the comments, questions, and concerns, but this is your chance to sound off, and we will start with, on that Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Eric in Raleigh. Eric, thank you very much for calling in. I see here you want to sound off on the North Carolina Tar Heels. So are we talking football or basketball?
Football.
All right. We now know where the table has been set. Go ahead and sound off.
Yeah, I as a longtime football and basketball fan, I've just learned over the years to just laugh whenever we have a bad loss like we did this past weekend, because there's no sense of getting mad and throwing stuff and just yelling at your TV because you cannot control the outcome. So after Saturday, I just kind of looked at the score and just laughed and went on about my day. And then I've also realized that Carolina football is just a mediocre program. I don't know if it will ever be beyond mediocre, because I know just in the past, we may have 2 or 3 seasons where we reach 9 to 10 wins, but eventually that coach will move on or get forced out like Butch Davis, and we'll continue to be mediocre, 6, 7, 8 wins a season. And that's my 2 cents on UNC football.
I appreciate the, cold glass of water of realism. So thank you very much for calling in, Eric. Call back in anytime. Here's my response to that. I still, and I've said this a long time, I still think UNC is a sleeping giant on the football field. I just think there's a certain element of cool that comes with Jordan Brand, the Argyle, UNC, that different coaches at times have tapped a little bit into, but they haven't been tapped into all the way. And Mac does a little bit. Mac has a little bit of that swag, but I'm waiting for them to get a younger offensive put up points style coach. And if they can average, 40 plus points a game and really light it up, and have it be fun, I think there's another level they can reach. The consistency issue would be, can you keep the coach once they establish themselves as a star? But if you can do that, I think UNC is a sleeping giant. I've said it for a long time. Let's go to Edward in Wendell, wants to sound off on the Panthers. Edward, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
I think the big problem is
is Bryce Young doesn't seem to have a lot of chemistry with his receivers. You were talking about earlier with the drop. Like, I think, he doesn't have that much chemistry with his receivers, and that's, they need to lock in together and become that really good. I feel like this team has enough talent where they can probably make a playoff run, but they just don't have the chemistry and the leadership, mainly the chemistry. And I play the NHL video game.
All right.
And be a pro. And if you sign to a new team, they have this dude that's always go and get good chemistry. Go take your team to get pizza. So I think Bryce Young to invite all his wide receivers and linemen, go play a round of golf or go get some pizza and have a good time, and so they can build more chemistry.
Edward, I love it. And, I'm a big proponent of everything you just said, all of the team building activities. Sometimes it's tough in season to find time for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But preseason, off season, I'm right there with you. I appreciate the call, Edward.
Thank you.
Of course. I will say that was part of the concern, and Edward, it was a great call. That was part of the concern with the quarterback flip-flopping going through. I'm big on the quarterback has to be able to say, I know Coach said break it off at 12.5 yards, but I'm going to come to you early, so do it at 12. You need to be able to custom the offense to you. And you do have to like the people you're playing with. I've said this before. I was in a quarterback competition in college, and one of my very, very good friends was one of our better wide receivers. And I don't know if it was me kind of just thinking it, but it did feel like he made a lot more plays for me, in scrimmages and stuff, than he did for the other guy. I don't think he was consciously throwing it. I think it's just one of those things where it's we throw a lot. He knows me, and the back of the mind is fighting for you. So, heck, go get some pizza. I'm with it. If you can find the time, Bryce, it's on you. You got $20, $30-something million with your first overall pick contract. Pick up the pizza and get everybody together. Next up on the call line, Heister Automotive Group hotline, open for a Monday sound-off, 919-860-5326. Mike in Sanford wants to talk Duke football. Got the dub over the weekend over Virginia Tech. Mike, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off on the Blue Devils.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to throw some positive vibes to those Blue Devils. I've been a fan for years, and you get to a point where you're happy with a 6-win season. Let's get bowl eligible. And I know early in the year it was a lot of people had a hard time seeing those guys win 3 or 4 games, and here they are with the 8 wins and got a chance for 9, and who knows, they might win a 10th game in a bowl game. And I'm proud of those guys. A lot of those guys on that team, have been through 3 different coaches now, and they stuck around. And I think it says a lot about those guys and about Manny. I mean, I don't know. They figure something out up there, and I guess the question will come with him later on. We're going to be able to keep him. I hate that, but I don't know. I just want to show him a little love because I've been a fan for a long time, and it's easy to get up excited about the basketball team, but to see those guys go out there and play the way they do on Saturdays on that football field, it's just good times.
Mike, I appreciate you very much. I'll build off of what you're saying, but just in the interest of getting to more callers, we'll let you go. But thank you very much for calling in. Great call. Here's the thing about Duke football. First of all, if they win 10 games and they're now up to 8 with 2 to play, they have the finale against Wake, they'll be favored, and then they have a bowl game. We don't know who they're going to be playing, who's going to opt out, what's the scenario there. If they get to 10 games, I said this on Friday, it'll be the 11th 10 or more win season in the history of UNC, Duke, and NC State football combined. 343 combined seasons. They've done it 10 times in the history of their programs. Duke could get there this year. They should brag about that. They should be proud of that.
Absolutely.
That's no joke. And what I like about the win over Virginia Tech is it was like a find a way to win game. Their offense started off on fire, 270-plus yard touchdown passes on their first 2 drives. Then their offense cools down and the defense holds on. It's Complimentary football, as the coaches say. Let's go to Ian and Carey. He's been waiting the longest. Next up on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, which is open for a Monday sound-off, 919-860-5326. Ian and Carey, thank you very much for calling in. Which NFL team do you want to sound off on?
Hey, I want to talk about the Dolphins.
All right, Miami Dolphins. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, I was just watching the Dolphins play the Patriots, and I really think that the Dolphins.
Oh, wait a second. Are you the sound off from last week that said Tua should be an MVP candidate?
Yes, sir.
All right. So then they go out and they destroy the Patriots, and you're calling back in for your flowers?
Oh, yeah. We're going to do it again next week against the Packers.
All right.
I think that the Dolphins should be considered at least like contenders, not like contenders in an aspect, but a way that, okay, we can beat the good teams, and we played with like the Bills and the Cardinals, which are two good teams. And I think that if we can play with the Packers and beat the Packers, we should be considered a team that could go to the playoffs, and most likely will go to the playoffs if we can win the games that we need to win. I mean, we should be considered a playoff winning team, and hopefully we can win a playoff game this year. But
all right, just to be clear for everybody, the Dolphins are 2 games out of the playoffs as it stands right now, correct? They have 5 wins, and I think the Broncos are in the 7th seed with 7 wins. So they still have some work to do, although they did look very good against the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, we did look really good, but it's got to go on to the the Packers game, because if we can't beat the Packers, or you can't beat the Texans, or you can't beat the 49ers, it's not going to happen. But I think that Tua is going to prove to everyone that first of all he can win in the playoff game, in the cold weather, but in prime time. But I think we should. I have confidence that either the Ravens, Chargers, or the Broncos will start to lose some games, and that it'll open up a place for us to make the playoffs.
All right, appreciate the call. Look forward to hearing from you after that Green Bay game on Thanksgiving. We'll see what that looks like in Green Bay, by the way, on Thanksgiving. So thank you very much for the call, and as you know, call back in next time. Marcus in Durham, you're up next on the Heister Automotive Group hotline on a Monday sound off. You want to sound off on the Panthers. I assume this is going to be positive, but they did lose the game, so I'll let you decide how positive. What's your sounding off on the Panthers?
Yeah, my sounding off is very proud of the way they played. I just think that the defense, I'm a 4-3 scheme kind of guy. Evero has been doing well. I understand that we've had injuries in the season. This defense, when I see Wanham dropping back into coverage, trying to cover a tight end, I don't think that's going to get it. We've had problems with pressure. We had the big drop from Xavier Legette. Very proud of the offense. I just think defensively-wise, I don't know if this scheme really fits the players that we have, and that's just my sound off. I think the offense is great. I think Bryce has made tremendous progress. You can see the confidence. You can see the swag. But the defense, we can't stop a nosebleed.
All right, appreciate the call. I'll fight back a little bit on that. I do think the players fit the scheme, because darn near half of them have played in the scheme before and were brought in by Evero to play in this scheme. When you're talking about the Josie Jewells, the Ashawn Robinsons, quite a few of these guys, the Jordan Fullers. I keep going back to this. I do think it's a talent issue on the Panthers defense. I think they, in the offseason, elected to move most of their available improvement opportunities from the defense to the offense, right? You move on from Brian Burns, you spend $30 million a year on offensive guards. You use your first-round pick on a wide receiver. Use your second-round pick on a running back. Use your fourth-round pick on a tight end, mixing in a third-round linebacker and a fifth-round corner. I just think that there's a level of, in the NFL right now, if you don't have 3 or 4 difference makers on defense, it's very hard to consistently be a very, very good D. I think you can take chances and be an elite schemer, but you need 3 or 4 dudes on the team. Derek Brown was one of them for the Panthers. His injury early on really, really hurt. Brian Burns was one of them. That trade is they're missing him, even if you like the trade or like the what they did with the money. I think it's tough. Evero is not my favorite coach in the world, and a lot of the game planning and play calling maybe I wouldn't do. But I also think he's in a really tough situation. Like, both can be true.
He is. I'm with Marcus on this one in the sense of I'm not a big fan of the scheme either, because we even saw last year at times Brian Burns dropping into coverage. Like, that's not what he does. He's so married to his scheme. It doesn't matter what the personnel is. And when we had all the injuries on defense, he never really adjusted what he was doing. It was like, hey, we're just going to line up and play. I'm like, no, that doesn't work. You have to work around your personnel. So, yeah, I'm with Marcus on this one. I'm not a big fan of Evero's scheme. And here's the thing. Even last year, like, they still couldn't get to the quarterback when they had Derek Brown and Brian Burns. They were still dead last in the NFL in sack percentage. Dead last.
I mean, we can relitigate last year. I think there were a lot of context clues. They were never behind, or they were never ahead.
That's why I say sack percentage, not total sacks. I say sack percentage, and they're still one of the worst in the NFL at that, even after getting 5 yesterday. I'm not a big fan of this game. I'm on Marcus on this one. I think they need to adjust what they have, because like DJ Wanham he's supposed to be your premier edge rusher, right, along with Clowney. Why are you dropping him into covers? He ain't fit for it.
The logic behind, I'm not agreeing with call. Like I said, I don't agree with a lot of the play calls. But the logic behind it is that's the changeup, right? The fact that we're sitting here going, why in the world would you drop DJ Wanham? The idea is that the quarterback and other coach are going, holy cow, they're dropping DJ Wanham. It's a risk. And when it doesn't work out, when they take advantage of it, I mean, that's the risk. That's the reward, and it doesn't work. Let's go back to the call-in line. Peyton in Durham wants to talk UNC, and this is a very modern call because he wants to add in a little NIL to the conversation. By the way, phone lines are open, 919-860-5326. Peyton in Durham, go ahead and sound off. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, so earlier you mentioned, like, we were talking about UNC football and being a sleeping giant. I don't know if we're going to be a sleeping giant anymore in this era. We're not able to produce the NIL specifically on football. Basketball, it sounds like we're getting a little bit more competitive. But until someone sits Michael Jordan down and says, look, we need a Bill Walton, we need a Phil Knight, we need someone who we can just go to who has an open bank, and being able to say, we're going to get Jordan Brand contracts for all of our players who come to our school. We're going to get the best Jordan reps that we can. I don't know if UNC is going to be taken seriously. I don't know if Bubba's doing a good enough job NIL-wise and marketing-wise. When I look at our Twitter page, we're barely posting, whereas Duke, you see them constantly posting on their Twitter page, their social media, really branding their players. And until that gets taken more seriously at UNC by Bubba and by the people who are running this organization, I don't know if UNC is going to be competing much longer, because we're just not there in NIL. We're not there in this market that is supposed to promote players as much.
Peyton, let me ask you a question. Have you read, I call it his manifesto, have you seen the Bubba Cunningham, like, almost open letter he wrote on GoHeels.com last week?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay, I encourage you to do that, and I'll give you a little bit of cliff notes. It sounds like UNC is preparing to run themselves more like a business, maybe even take some cash from the quote-unquote other sports to make sure that football and basketball are adequately funded. Also, I'm not 100% sure on this because it's changing every day. I think the NIL support from fans is about to take a little bit of a back seat. Once the legality is confirmed of the player share, the revenue share, where the schools can pay $20.5 million roughly to players with 75% of that available to go to a single sport. I think it's going to be less about can we fundraise from, the tailgaters, and it's going to become more about how much does our university support our athletics program. And I think UNC still has that ability to dig deep into the North Carolina, Chapel Hill pockets and pay players.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. I'm a diehard UNC fan, grew up with that. I think I've just been watching Michael Jordan sit on the sidelines and say no one should be played if you're in college. And so it's just frustrating to see someone like Michael Jordan not contribute back to the university in those ways other than giving us the quote, the ceiling is the roof, I
appreciate it. Call back in anytime. I laugh every time I hear the ceiling is the roof. It makes me giggle.
The ceiling is the roof.
So good. But I will say this. For a long time, Jordan couldn't be associated with the program. As an owner of an NBA team, there are strict guidelines on what he can and can't be kind of connected with colleges about. Obviously, that changed now that he's no longer the majority owner of the Hornets. But who knows how long it takes to build up that relationship once that relationship is legal. We'll go to Tyler in Raleigh. UNC football is where Tyler in Raleigh wants to sound off. Again, it's open for everyone, 919-860-5326. Call in, sound off on whatever you want to sound off on. Sports-related, I'd assume. Tyler in Raleigh, thanks for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Michael Jordan owes what to who now?
I don't think it was an owing situation. He wasn't saying he owes them. He was just saying, I'm sure there are UNC
there not doing anything. I was just like, I liked what Eric, the UNC football caller, was just calling in and talking about how he just kind of laughed the score off, and it's apathy, and it's like at the same time, as apathetic as I am, I don't want Mac Brown to be gone. I haven't heard a suggestion that would be better. And also it's like when you're a football program that really hasn't accomplished anything and the only man who's really helped you accomplish something is sitting right there at the office and you're trying to run him off because he only got is there actually a suggestion for who would be, like a real name that would be better fit to run that program?
Okay, appreciate the call. And it's a great question. I haven't heard names thrown out there yet, but also Mac Brown is so beloved, I don't see anyone throwing names out until it's clear that he's not going to be around. But every AD in the country has I call it the list in the locked drawer of names that they would move towards if something surprising happened with their coach. So I'm sure there are names out there. It's just we're never going to hear them until Mac Brown's situation is solidified.
I see.
Appreciate the call. And I'll add this one more time. I don't think anyone is like anti-Mac Brown, right? I just want that to be clear. I think what people are is let me try to think of this the best way. If there's a quarterback competition and there is somebody with 1 year of eligibility left and someone with 5 years of eligibility left, if it's close, you go to the one with the 5 years of eligibility left, right? Somebody who you think is going to be around longer, you can build around. I think there is a large contingent that sees Mac Brown as he's got like 1 or 2 years of eligibility left. It's no disrespect to that player. It's not saying you're worse. It's saying, hey, you're beloved, but if we got somebody with more eligibility, maybe we look there. It's not that simple, but it kind of sounds that simple. More Monday sound-offs. This one, another NFL caller, Barry in Selma, wants to talk Minnesota Vikings. Barry, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Yeah, I want to get 2 quick points in real quick. My Wolfpack has been sadly disappointing. And to the Carolina guy, hey, they got plenty of money on their alumni. They ought to be able to get plenty. But I wanted to ask you, Tim, why is nobody giving my Vikings any love nationally?
Is that a fact? Do you feel like they're not getting love nationally?
I don't feel nobody's talking about them on the pregame shows.
Okay. If I had to guess why, and to be completely honest, we cover a lot of sports here. I do not track like how often the Vikings are being talked about. But if I had to guess, there's 2 reasons. One, you happen to be in the same division as the Detroit Lions, and they're everybody's golden child right now.
Oh, absolutely. We lost to them, but we had them. We could have beat them, but didn't come up quite short.
And then the other option would be, I don't know if everybody's still convinced that Sam Darnold can be that dude. And especially around here, there's images we have a really hard time getting out of our brain.
Yeah, he's come down to I think he threw 4 interceptions in one game.
I don't know the fact. I actually thought he played kind of well in a little comeback for you against Chicago, though. So
he played pretty good yesterday.
So I appreciate the call. I'll start now. I won't be able to not pay attention. Double negative there. I'll be paying attention to see how often the Vikings get mentioned. Appreciate the call.
All right, thanks, Tim.
You're welcome. It is. I'm not saying it's unearned. The love fest with the Detroit Lions. It's getting aggressive. It's yeah. You think Dan Campbell walks on water the way everybody talks about the Detroit Lions, and maybe he does. Maybe he's that good of a coach.
That's cold up there. It might be ice now.
How funny would that be if they're like Dan Campbell walks on water, and then they show him like walking onto the Great Lakes, it's just frozen. It's It's actually kind of a funny marketing bit. Let's go ahead and jump to Isaiah in Wake Forest. Wants to talk about UNC football, specifically the quarterback, on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Isaiah, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and sound off on the Tar Heels.
Okay. Thank you for answering my call.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say two things real quick.
All right.
First, I do agree with Barry. The Vikings are not getting enough love. They're having a really good comeback season.
How about Justin Jefferson getting like one catch yesterday and they still won?
Yeah. And two, on the Tar Heels, Jacoby Criswell, he's really got to stop taking sacks. Just throw the ball away. He's taking too many sacks. I feel like he's panicking, running out of the pocket, and then instead of throwing the ball away, trying to do something, like make a big play and taking sacks, which I think he should throw the ball away. It was a big reason why we got killed on Saturday. 21-42 is not even close to how close it was because a lot of that was in garbage time.
41-21, but yes, I agree with you. I'm just being kind of nitpicky there. I'll say
my bad.
No, you're good. I'm kidding. But what I will say is that's why I think Omarion Hampton is so important. That like when it's a passing down, that's when the sacks are going to come. That's when the panic is going to come. That's when the defense knows they can rattle Criswell. If you can give him play action off an Omarion Hampton handoff, there's time and space, which is what somebody, he's still pretty inexperienced, even though he's an older guy. Inexperienced quarterbacks, time and space is everything. So thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate it. We're going to try to sneak one more in here before the top of the hour. John in Raleigh wants to talk Duke football. So, hey, let's end on a positive. How about that? John in Raleigh, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Thank you. I'm calling as a Duke grad and Duke football season ticket holder, and I've got a confession to make. Many of us are too negative about this team and our quarterback, although we're winning 8 games. Malik made some questionable throws the other night, but he made some world-class throws. He's thrown 25 TDs, and I just hope we won't forget the success we're having right now, and Manny gets a lot of credit.
Manny does get a lot of credit. I'm confused. So what is the I actually think Malik Murphy is getting the love, right? He's the quarterback that came in and kept everything rolling. You're saying within the fan base there's a negative kind of hint towards how he's playing?
I'm saying I can't tell you that scientifically, but sitting around me Saturday night, there were times, and I was guilty of it too, that we focus on the bad throw and forget the 3 beauties he threw to Pancol. So I'm looking at myself and saying we need to focus on the positive. Let's go win a couple more games.
I appreciate the call. Thank you very much. I mean, when you start the game with a 80-yard touchdown pass and then a 70-yard touchdown pass, whatever they were on the first 2 drives, it's actually kind of crazy. But, 2.5 quarters later, halfway through the third, people start to forget about those first 2 drives. So was that last week when he hit the deep balls?
Remember when?
Yeah, remember. Did he have those long touchdowns? You just remember the interceptions. I think he's playing really well. 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Would you like the 11 interceptions to be a little less? Sure. But the guy's thrown for 25 touchdowns. Like, let's call a spade a spade. That's pretty impressive. And he's maybe not the prettiest, but for the most part, it's been winning football. So I think he's getting a lot of love. I haven't heard the negatives the way the caller was just describing there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be opening the phone line sporadically throughout the end of the show if you can get your sounding off done. But right now, I'm going to sound off on Windows. Tim Donnelly here for Window Nation. I'm going to sound off on your old Windows. You don't realize, I didn't realize, how much of your monthly energy bill is literally just going out of your windows. And it's one of those things that's hard to see, right? It's not tangible, right? There's no scoreboard like I always talk about. We keep scores in sports for a reason. There's no scoreboard like in your living room when it gets cold outside and you're trying to heat the inside of your house that just has, we're losing 45-7 in the energy wars because so much money is going out of our windows right now. We're getting smoked. And then you put up Window Nation windows, and suddenly you're winning in a shutout. You're keeping all the air inside, well-insulated, better materials, excellent installation with experienced crews. You want to win 45-0, or you want to give away a whole bunch of points off just poor preparation and installation. There's a sports reference for you, sports analogy. Always looking for those. Right now, heck, The other team will give you the ball in the red zone. 50% off all window styles plus 0 interest for 60 months. And here's like the field position of it, right? They're going to set you up. An additional 10% off for Black Friday. So you get the 50% off all window styles, the 0 interest for 60 months, and an additional 10% off for Black Friday on Window Nation windows, which, I mean, every different style you can think of, 96% customer satisfaction rating, and don't forget about the lifetime warranty. The number to call to set up your free, no obligation consultation and estimate is 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com to schedule. That's windownation.com to schedule now. We'll take a break. When we come back, football at 4, where I make a little penance, maybe say I'm sorry to Dave Canales. Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Are you looking for the perfect holiday gift? Did you know that Bailey's has something for everybody and every budget? Sure, we're known for our designer jewelry, fine diamonds, and luxury watches, but we also have a vast selection of beautiful jewelry and gifts under $500. You can make a piece of our Bailey's collection yours this Christmas. Add a little sparkle with the popular Icon Collection Tiny Diamond Hoops in either white, rose, or yellow gold for $395. For only $250, check out our beautiful Sterling Collection Diamonds by the Yard bracelet, or select one of our Bailey's perfect layering necklaces. For $325, our Goldmark Station necklace, or for only $275, our Icon Puffed Heart pendant. We're celebrating over 75 years of making holiday gifting easy. You can shop online at baileybox.com, or we invite you to visit one of our locations in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, and Greenville to see why every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. 70 degrees this afternoon. Feeling great out there under mostly sunny skies, but I'm tracking a front that comes in tomorrow. That will make things a little warmer overnight. We'll see a low of 52 under mostly cloudy skies, and then expect some rain in the morning tomorrow, but the sunshine returns in the afternoon. We'll see highs in the upper 60s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 440 points today to 44,736. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I have to give credit to Dave Canales, head coach, Carolina Panthers. There isn't much to nitpick right now. And the reason why I say I have to give credit or I have to apologize, some might say, is because you're judged by results in sports. And I've been vocal that I don't think he handled the quarterback position the way that it should have been handled throughout the year. I don't like that he benched Bryce after 2 games. I don't like that he hasn't been naming Bryce the starter in the postgame for the next week. I don't like some of the play calling earlier on for a quarterback that was obviously trying to get his confidence right. There's a lot I didn't like about what he did, but in a sport, you are judged by your results, and there is no arguing that Bryce Young is playing better and looking like a different player than he was earlier in the season. And I have to give credit to the coach for pulling the strings that got him there. Even if in my heart of hearts I still think there's a better way to do it, the result is what the result is, and Bryce Young is playing significantly better right now than he was at the beginning of the year. Now, we'll never know if it was always the evil genius plan of Dave Canales to come back to Bryce after resetting the engines with some time out, or if the thumb injury during the car accident that Andy Dalton suffered was a blessing in disguise for them. But it's a results-based business, and the results are coming back pretty strong right now. And then there's other things that Dave Canales and I have disagreed on that we are kind of coming to meld together, whether by choosing or by force. Like, I've been arguing young player takeover. I've been arguing do not feature David Moore and put Adam Thielen as the number 3 wide receiver and make sure these young guys are getting targets. But I can't get mad at him this week for featuring the old guys because Jalen Coker was hurt and inactive and Jatavian Sanders left in the middle of the game. And if they're not available due to injury, I mean, you got to throw it to somebody.
Yeah.
I thought Xavier Legette got enough targets that it made sense. I don't think you targeted Adam Thielen or Moore at the expense of Xavier Legette, which is really all you need when the other 2 guys are out. And Jonathan Brooks got his 2 carries for 7 yards. They were obviously just getting his feet wet after his injury. So, yeah, I can't fault you for Thielen being featured on 3rd downs when there was really no one else to throw in there, like alongside Legette.
Yeah, Legette had the second most targets with 6.
And high leverage targets, downfield targets. I don't always like looking at targets and saying like this is who was featured. I use the Giants as the example. Malik Neighbors might have 10 targets. Wan'Dale Robinson might have 20 targets, but Wan'Dale Robinson will have 16 catches for 45 yards, and Neighbors will have 8 catches for 120. I'm going like, all right, those targets aren't the same, right? Some of those targets are, not as high leverage, not opportunity to make a big play. Xavier Legette, 6 targets, I'm good. With the one big crosser on the first drive, the one down the field that he dropped late in the game, like he had his opportunities to make big plays, I'm good. Other than that, I don't know where else you were going to go other than Thielen and Moore and Tremble, which those guys got the chances. He named his bright and then the second thing, right? So that one, I was kind of forced into his camp, right? I was kind of forced into like, all right, throw it to the old guys. After the game, I think he was so excited he kind of stumbled into my camp and he named Bryce Young the starter in the postgame. He didn't have to wait. Here's Dave Canales on Bryce Young proving himself, and then at the end you hear him name the starter for next week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to make any statements. He's making it for himself. You know, he's continuing to show us the progress we're looking for, bringing our skill players to life, you know. Xavier played the X position today, so just kudos to Xavier as well, just taking on a new role and finding some success there. You know, a couple plays he'd love to have back, I'm sure. He'll be the first to tell you. But, you know, talking about Bryce, you know, it's again, it's the coaching staff, it's his teammates. He's showing us, what he can do when he's out there.
So we can expect him to start next Sunday.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I've been clamoring for that. Post-game presser, positive, compliment, positive, name the starter.
Let's just say that pretty much everyone in that press conference, myself included, all of our ears perked up when he said absolutely. Like, oh.
You don't have to go back and collect information and we'll talk to you on Wednesday?
Okay. Like, definitive. I'm like, okay, there it is.
I love it. I don't know how, honestly, they've gotten here, but Bryce Young is a much more confident quarterback, and that's all I've been asking for. I've wanted every decision to be made with what gets our quarterback more confident, and it seems like the entire season they've been making the opposite decision, but they stumbled into having a confident quarterback anyway, and now they're building on it. Now they're praising him. Now there's naming the starter in the future. Dave Canales was asked after the game what he learned from coaching against Andy Reid, and I thought this was said well.
I mean, just watching him for years and then just to see it firsthand, the patience that he shows and just the right calls to his group of guys, and using different personnels, using the strengths and talents that they have, is really, what I admire the most about Coach Reid, and that he's got a group that just finds a way. They just keep finding a way to win, which is a sign of a great team, And so, but again, I got to look at us. This is about us. It's about taking advantage of red zone opportunities, offensively, and tip the cap to Spags, and that defensive unit, that was able to keep us to field goals early on. So, again, something that we have to continue to grow.
It was funny because I don't know if I was in the post-game media if I would ask that question. It's not a bad question, but it's just not one I would have thought of. However, this morning, I was listening to a podcast, and it actually jumped out to me, something that Dave Canales can learn from Andy Reid. It was Matt Hasselbeck was making telling the story. Remember Hasselbeck? We want the ball and we're going to score. He was a longtime quarterback of the Seahawks, and also with the Packers before that. Mike Holmgren was the head coach. This is the story of Andy Reid that personifies everything I believe in when it comes to developing quarterbacks. Mike Holmgren, grizzly dude. I don't know if everybody remembers Mike Holmgren, but very, very kind of angry at times. And Hasselbeck would tell the story of, in practice, Holmgren's rule, no balls on the ground, complete everything in offensive drills. And there'd be a ball on the ground, and Holmgren would come screaming over. Matt Hasselbeck, backup quarterback, right, just about to get torn their head off. And Andy Reid would jump in the middle, right, back to Holmgren, face like in the space of Hasselbeck, like up, arms, fingers pointed, and Andy Reid would be looking like he's mad, and he would be screaming at Matt Hasselbeck, okay, do I look like I'm mad? I know what happened there. The wide receiver ran 18 yards, and he should have run 14 yards, and it wasn't your fault. Do I look mad? Look like I'm yelling at you. And here's the thing. We're going to see that on film, and we're going to get fixed with the wide receiver, but Mike Holmgren's going to realize that it wasn't you. And all that was doing was protecting his quarterback's confidence from being dressed down by the head coach in a way that might affect them moving forward. And my thought went to, gosh, Andy Reid is willing to protect his confidence, his quarterback's confidence, like with his life. He's like throwing his body in front of bullets for his quarterback. I think that's something Canales can learn, but no arguing with results here. So whatever you did with Bryce, it worked. I'm not that's, shooting a half-court shot to win a game. I'm not sure you should make that the plan. Like, hey, from this point on, let's stall and throw up the half-court shot. But it went in. You won the game. To the victor goes the spoils. The victors write the histories. Congratulations, Dave Canales. You've rehabbed a quarterback from seemingly the edge of extinction earlier this year. It's impressive. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group. And that, of course, includes Coach Pete. Speaking of coaches, speaking of confidence, Coach Pete is all about building your confidence. And it's not just your confidence in him or your confidence in yourself. It's your confidence that your money isn't going anywhere. It's protecting your gains. It's making it so you don't have to wake up every morning, refresh that stock market app, and make sure the market is in a good place to make sure your retirement fund is in a good place. Coach Pete can make sure that your gains are protected and you don't depend on the success of the market to have your retirement protected. Coach Pete will make sure your plan is reviewed, analyzed, and seal it with the famous Coach Pete stamp of approval. Make sure you get that second opinion you deserve, because if things aren't right, it's vital to learn about the issues sooner rather than later. Get that confidence locked and loaded and push it all the way through, not just to retirement, but through retirement. The number to call is 800-691-3215, or you can text my name, Tim, to 600-700. Again, that's 800-691-3215. I'll say that slower. Realized I ripped through it. 800-691-3215. Or text my name, Tim, to 600-700. That's Tim to 600-700. If you let them know you heard about it here on The Drive, they'll hook you up with one of Coach Pete's best-selling books. He's got 6 of them for free. Just got to let them know you heard about it here. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back after this. Dennis still on a heater on his ladder challenge.
Yeah,
we are nearing the end of the month. He might be cashing out with a whole bunch of money. If you haven't been tailing him, you should. Ladder challenge next.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Natchez heads up. Back to Orlov. He scores! A 1-2 punch from Dmitry Orlov. It's 3-2 on Orlov, second of the game.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Now back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance up front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Terms and conditions apply.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
A new game has landed in North Carolina. Officials are calling this new species of game Cash Pop. So easy to play, it's out of this world. Reports confirm you just pick and match one number to win up to $2,500. With 5 drawings every day, cash landings have been sighted across the state. So be on the lookout for Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. The wins are out there. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds chart at nclottery.com for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
I went to My Computer Career because I needed job security.
Because I wanted a career in cybersecurity.
I went to My Computer Career because IT jobs are everywhere.
My old job was going nowhere.
I went because I didn't want college loans for the rest of my life.
Because I wanted a career for the rest of my life.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Classes available online or in person. Financial aid available for qualified students, including the GI Bill. 529 college savings plans accepted.
Not available in Washington State.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, save 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 years. Hurry, sale ends November 30th, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Fruitcake! You shouldn't have. Wow, a candle.
Spread joy, not junk, with the Autobell Car Wash Holiday Sale. Visit Autobell to buy 1 Super Poly Process Wash and get 1 40% off.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Monday. It is time for the ladder challenge. Let's be real. I'm sure some of you like paying attention to the justification behind my picks every week or every day during the ladder challenge. But over the last couple of weeks, it's turned into the Dennis Ladder Challenge show because obviously we start with $10, but you could just call that a unit, right? You can bet as much or as little as you want. The goal is to win a likely to win bet every single day, roll over the winnings, and if you make it to the end of the month, you can really make a nice little profit. Dennis, what are you up to?
$60.90.
So he has 6x'd his money with, I believe, only 2 more days to make this happen, right?
Yeah, today and tomorrow.
Today and tomorrow, because then I'm out of here for the holidays, and we'll hit the end of the month before we come back. So, first of all, what did you hit on whatever that was, Friday?
So I went with the alternate spread line in the NHL because alternate buck line because I didn't like any of the
You didn't like any of the shots on goal?
I didn't like any of the shots on goals. I know that's normally my bread and butter, but I went with the Winnipeg Jets plus 1.5 at a minus 525 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. They beat the Penguins 4-1, so that was easy. But today, I'm actually going to go back with my bread and butter.
Shots
on goal. Nikita Kucherov minus 650.
He's been one of your favorites. Not only are 2+ shots on goal kind of your bread and butter, Kucherov has been one of your honey holes.
He really has been. And you know what?
How much are you going to win if this hits?
$70.20.
$70.20. You need to get 2 more right, and you'll walk out with probably 8x your money.
Yeah,
which is pretty darn good.
By the way, Kucherov in the NHL is tied for 11th for most shots on goal in the entire league. And of anyone in the top 20, he's played the least amount of games. So he gets, in terms of volume, in terms of shots on goal per game, give it to me.
It's a math thing and an eye test thing. It's kind of all of it.
Yeah, he just...
All right. As I said, Dennis is, if things go well the next 2 days on likely to win bets, we know that based on the odds. That's not me saying it. He'll have 80-something bucks. But I think I might have the most fun thing to say about the ladder challenge today. I bet on the Panthers and won.
Yeah, you did, actually.
I had the Panthers plus 25.5 points, and they almost won outright. They almost won on the money line.
Nailed it.
Which teasing it to plus 25.5 is almost comical. But it nearly worked. So, or it did work, but I probably should have not teased it as far and made more money. But I had a feeling that the Chiefs weren't going to absolutely destroy the Panthers, and not only did they not do that, they barely beat the Panthers. Which brings me up to $18.22, which means I know you're all hot and bothered by 8 timesing your money. If I hit my bet today, I've 2 timesed my money.
Look at you.
I'm up to $20.82 if Justin Herbert throws at least 1 touchdown tonight versus Baltimore. I just need 1.
Okay.
Herbert has a touchdown in 9 of 10 games this year. Baltimore gives up the 3rd most touchdown passes per game in the NFL at 1.91 per game, but in the last 7 games, that goes up to almost 2.5, 2.43 per game. Their secondary, not tremendous. And I'm just going to say it, Herbert passes every eye test of a top quarterback this year. He looks like a superhero out there. He's held back a bit in some of the production by the offense, but he is playing so well. And I think he gets a touchdown. If you made me pick, probably to someone like Ladd McConkey if he plays. Wouldn't hate having the dump off out of the backfield as an option there as well. But I think Herbert gets at least 1, probably multiple touchdowns against the Ravens. I think it's going to be a really fun game tonight. And if that hits, I'll 2 times my money.
Look at you.
Look at me. And I just have to hope that Dennis messes up in the next 2 days. That's the ladder challenge. Now let's jump into the podium. Podium, we take the 4 schools from the state of North Carolina that are in the Atlantic Coast Conference. It is a hybrid right now as the schedules have overlapped, football, men's basketball. And over the last week, it is a weekly award. Who wins, they get the gold. Who's in second, they get the silver. Who finishes in third, that's the bronze. And then there's got to be someone off the podium. Everybody doesn't get a trophy around here. That brings us to off the podium. I also want to say this. We are about 10 minutes away from first goal scorer predictions for the Canes. If you want to win the gift certificate to the Apex Racing Lab, have your dialing fingers ready. There will be 3 official contestants that call in, make their predictions on the air for first goal scorer for the Canes game tonight against Dallas. And if you get it right, you will get an Apex Racing Lab gift certificate. So keep that in mind. Right now, we'll jump into the podium. Off the podium is UNC. Now, UNC men's basketball did get the win over the University of Hawaii out there on the islands. And I kind of love all of the tests and setup and everything of UNC's non-conference schedule. They're going into tonight against Dayton in the Maui Invitational. So I think men's basketball had a very good weekend. Maybe not great, but solid. Not enough to overcome the shellacking they suffered at the hands of Boston College on the football field. 41-21, a loss to Boston College, and I can't emphasize this enough, wasn't that close. They scored 2 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes and 9 seconds to make it look respectable.
That was the only 2 offensive touchdowns they had all game.
They did have a kick return earlier on in the game, which was lipstick on a pig in the first half. Made it look a little more respectable. But they were getting thoroughly dominated by Boston College. And it becomes worse when I say this. I don't think they were the worst team. If you lose by 20 and you're just playing the Monstars and you're just like, you know what am I going to do here? They're bigger, faster, stronger. But when you're bigger, faster, stronger, and you get beat like that, it stings worse. Felt like they didn't show up, felt like they weren't ready. Despite the basketball team doing some things that I really like, football held them back enough to keep them off the podium. That brings us to bronze. Wake Forest. And Wake Forest, be happy that Boston College so thoroughly dominated UNC, because just about any other night, I think Wake Forest is going to end up off the podium. Wake Forest football lost to Miami 42-14, which is technically on final score a bigger beatdown than Boston College put on UNC, but it's a little more palatable when you think it wasn't just garbage touchdowns. And Miami's a top 10, top 7 to top 5, depending on who you ask, team in the country. So, like I said, a beatdown against a team that, might be bigger, faster, stronger, it's more palatable. You can survive that a little bit more. The men's basketball team for Wake, they beat Western Carolina in a game that I was fine with. The win against Detroit Mercy over the weekend, you should beat Detroit Mercy by more than 10. I don't want to get too your expectations are too high. But yeah, I'm just go ahead and say it. Maybe my expectations are right where they should be, and your expectations are too low for a program like Wake Forest. You got, 31 from Hunter Salas?
Yeah. And
you scored 67 against Detroit Mercy? Everybody else got to step up. And you're dealing with little boo-boos and owies. I saw Hildreth going on and off the floor and being checked out and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I wanted more there.
Efton Reed hasn't played the last couple of games. He's been actually dealing with migraines.
Yes. And I don't even think he was out with the team against Detroit Mercy.
I think he warmed up, maybe did shoot around earlier in the day, but
didn't
it
come
just
out.
Kicked in. Yeah.
And he's very important. He's very important for them. Very talented big. Silver goes to NC State. Football lost to Georgia Tech, but this was back on Thursday, glimmers of hope. I liked the mentality of their young backfield. It's still a brutal way to lose, kind of, prevent defense, preventing you from winning the game by letting Georgia Tech go down the field and score a touchdown with a freshman quarterback. But it was a 1-point loss, and your young offense put you in the lead with 2, 3, 4 minutes, whatever that was, left in the game. And men's basketball, the basketball team, they're crushing the tune-up schedule. They had 5 non-conference group of 5 teams to start their season. Did what they were supposed to do. 72-49 over Colgate, and then a 81-58 win over William and Mary. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but it seems like who's going to be the go-to scorer is answered with a dual answer of Jaden Taylor and Marcus Hill. They've kind of been playing the hot hand, and I think that's an option. That's something you can do throughout a season if you know, hey, whichever of these two has it going is going to be our focal point on the offense. So that works. Now it's about, you start with Purdue this week, number 6 in the country, followed up by Texas, followed up by Florida State. We'll see how well you use those tune-up games based on how tuned up you are for the big games.
Plus, their loss in football, if that final field goal attempt is literally 1 foot to the right, it's a walk-off win.
Yes, the
you're
one
right there.
The 58-yard or whatever they
tried.
tried.
Which is not an easy kick to make, but you were right there to the end.
You almost wish he shanked it and missed it by 30 yards because you're like, oh, you could have. You were right there. Everybody from that side of the field. That's silver. Now gold. Gold, this was an easy decision, goes to Duke. Duke football beat Virginia Tech 31-28. Their basketball team beat Arizona on the road at Arizona 69-55. Had it in control, I would say, most of the game. First, let's hear from Manny Diaz, the head coach of the football team, on overcoming mistakes to win by 3 against Virginia Tech.
It's hard to be a quarterback and throw 3 picks and have to come back out in the second half and lead a touchdown drive to start the third quarter. It's hard defensively when we gave up a touchdown drive, I guess, at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and then without looking at the drive, try to fill it from that point on. I think they were dominant from that point on. So these are just the things, right? It's not about perfection. As coaches, we'll fuss. We'll have plenty to correct tomorrow, but at the same time, to be able to let that go, to be able to play the next play and move on, is something that we've really taken to heart this year, and I think it's served us well.
Yeah. Oh, go throw 3 interceptions, have to go back out there. Well, you also threw 3 touchdowns and had to go back out there, right? Had 2 70-plus yard touchdowns to start the game. I don't know if there's anything that could get my confidence down after the first play is a 77-yard touchdown pass. I'm walking on pretty confident feet from that point forward. Men's basketball beat Arizona. There's something I was wrong about when it comes to Duke. All preseason I said, I think Cooper Flagg is going to be the do-it-all for him, and Con Knippel might be the actual leading scorer. Nah, Cooper Flagg's going to lead him in scoring.
The do-it-all with being the leading scorer.
He leads them in scoring, rebounding, assists, blocks, and steals right now.
Yep.
I thought it would be like the other 4, and then somebody might be the leading scorer. No, he's in the big games, Kentucky and Arizona, 26 and 24 points.
Hard to argue against it.
And not like wholly inefficient. He's not putting up 30 shots to get 26 points. He's a lot of mid-range jumpers, but he's scoring.
I went to the game when they played Wofford, which was their first game after Kentucky. And
it was right between the two, right?
Yeah, it was right between the two. So I wanted to see how Duke played in person. Because obviously when you watch on TV, it's different. But when you're actually in person, you can kind of see some little nuances and some of the conversations that are being had on the bench and such. I came away from that game feeling, I think the defensive side of the floor is actually Cooper Flagg's better side. Like better aspect of his game is actually his defense, because it's not what he can do on ball, but what he does off ball, denying passes, stepping into passing lanes, helping on from the weak side, different things like that. I was like, his defense might actually be his best attribute. And obviously we know what he can do as a scorer, passer, and all those things, but like, man, he actually might be a better defender than he is a scorer right now.
And that might not even just be limited to Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
That team
defensively amazing.
Lanky as heck. Passes that make it through against other teams, they just don't, because they have like 4 more inches in wingspan. And Malawash still, he's been in and out of darn near every game with cramps or injuries or whatever it's been. If he can ever play the allotted minutes, the 7'2" rim protector, that's a very good deal. Arizona's a top 10 team in the country. They scored 55 points. That's Virginia numbers.
Yeah.
Only you didn't play like Virginia style of basketball. There you go. That's the gold medalist. The Canes are at Dallas, are home versus Dallas tonight at the Lenovo Center. Dare I say they need a little something to break the tension? It feels like everybody is back muscles are tight going into this one.
By the way, you can watch the game on Fox 50. You can listen to the game on the Fan, but over on Fox 50, you can actually watch the game tonight. So it's going to be a simulcast of the FanDuel Sports Network. Still going to hear Mike and Tripp, but if you have trouble watching the games for whatever reason, just turn on Fox.
Or if you hear us talk about the Canes all the time and you are like, hey, I want to get into it, today, and I think Friday it's on.
Friday as well is on WRAL.
So there's a couple of options where it's probably on your TV in your guide already. So if you're like, hey, I want to check it out, this is a good time to check it out. And they're two good teams, two good games that they'll be playing.
Oh, yeah. Dallas tonight.
A little bit of an update just before we go into first goal scorer predictions, which are coming up in less than a minute. Pyotr Kochetkov is in concussion protocol. The goalie who was expected to play just about every game that he possibly could, while Freddie Anderson, the other of the top two goalies, is out with an injury for the next 2 or 3 months. Pyotr Kochetkov in concussion protocol, not sure on his return, but that does mean Spencer Martin will be playing tonight, probably Wednesday, and then probably Friday or Saturday with maybe Yaniv Peretz grabbing one of those other two games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a little update here. Let's jump into the game. The Heister Automotive Group hotline is going to open up for first goal scorer predictions. What you have to do is call in 919-860-5326 and come with a prediction. We need two things. What player will score the first goal for the Canes, and in what period will they score it? If you get both of those right, you get an Apex Racing Lab gift certificate. I'll give you the details on that in a second. But right now, Heister Automotive Group hotline is open, 919-860-5326. We need 3 contestants to predict first goal scorer and in what period that goal will be scored. If you get both right, you are the winner. We will ask for additional details just for fun. Like, hey, is it on the power play? Is it from the blue line? Give us something more just for fun, just to show off. But the only 2 things you need to get right are the period and the player for the first goal for the Canes tonight against Dallas. And if you win, you get a gift certificate to the ultimate sim racing experience, Apex Racing Lab. Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks located in Cary's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh. Visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com. Lines have already filled up, so we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. We have Roy in Franklinton. Roy, thank you for calling in. Who scores the first goal and in what period?
I'm going to go with Stahl in the first period.
Stahl in the first. What makes you go with the captain on a night like tonight?
Man, just got that feeling tonight.
All right. Any additional details you want to provide? Is it a shorty? Is it a special type? Is it a slap shot?
I don't think it's going to be a shorthand. It'll be even goal.
All right.
Strength goal.
Even strength. All right. We'll see if it hits. If it's Stahl in the first, you'll get it correct. If it's even strength, we'll give you an additional little hat tip. That brings us to our next caller, our next official contestant. Oh, by the way, Roy, stay on the line. Dennis has to grab some info from you. Leo in Chapel Hill, you are up. Who scores the first goal and in what period?
We got Aho in the first on a power play.
Aho in the first on the power play. Is there any reasoning behind your prediction?
He's overdue.
He's been better as of late, but I do think he's going to go on a hot streak to get back on pace for what we're used to seeing. Leo
tonight.
All right, I appreciate the call.
He did score on the power play on Saturday.
So there you go. Maybe it's a little bit of he's due and a little bit of he's in rhythm. Can you be on both sides
both
of that?
Both can be true. Why
That's
not?
like saying he's a little bit tall and a little bit short. I don't know if it's possible.
So he's like 5'10" like me.
Or it's like he's 5'10", but he's hanging out with people that are 5'6". So it's like he's never mind. Matt and Carey, you are up next. Go ahead and give us the prediction on who scores the first goal for the Canes tonight and in what period.
Let's go with Svetch in the first.
Interesting. I want the explanation behind that one.
I think Svetch is he's some built up aggression here. He's going to have one of those little semi breakaways, little forehand backhand, going straight at the goalie. I think he's going to power his way to the net and get that little forehand backhand going.
All right, love it. Thank you very much, Matt. When I saw Svetch go for the lacrosse goal, I went, oh, he is feeling it. Here's what I hope for from Svetch, and it's what I hope for from Svetch literally in every game. I want him to see red, like metaphorically, right? Like the bull sees red and just go. I think there's an opportunity for him to have more goals where people are bouncing off of him because he is so physically gifted and strong and powerful. And for the first time in a long time, he's had a stretch here where, knock on wood, throw salt, whatever superstitions you have, he's been healthy. So I think he can start throwing around some of his weight again. And I wouldn't hate if he has a little breakaway, maybe something forceful to take away around the center ice and then just barrels over people on his way to a goal. I wouldn't hate that at all. It's not who I'm picking for my first goal scorer, but I wouldn't hate that at all. My first goal scorer, and we'll get Dennis's here in a second, mine is Seth Jarvis in the first. Mine is Jarvie in the first. When I talked about the team needing a little tension breaker. What better of a tension breaker than Seth Jarvis? He is comic relief. He is also, I think it's going to be a good, hey, let's all calm down. Seth is back. His return is the best chance for them to have fun today, and they desperately need to have fun. So give me Seth Jarvis first. Maybe let's, I'm going to get even more aggressive. First shift for Seth Jarvis.
Oh, just right from the jump?
Just jumps out there,
okay.
and all of a sudden the puck finds him, and he's like, yeah, why not? Let me score right away. Bingo, bango, bongo, touchdown. Seth Jarvis in the first. Dennis, what are you going with?
I'm a little torn between a couple of guys on this one.
Talk through it. We can help.
Jake Ottinger, one of the best goalies in the NHL.
Yep.
He's a bigger goalie. He's like 6'5", 6'6", really fills up the net. So what's the best way to work around a big goalie? Got to get traffic and stuff in front of him, get some rebounds.
Which I think is something the Canes could use more of just in general personnel and style.
What's the best line that does that? Stahl, Carrier, Martinook.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Jordan Martinook first period.
Who else were you considering?
I was actually considering my guy, William Carrier.
Oh, so it was someone from that line.
But someone from that line. Carrier has experience a bunch because he's spent most of his career in Vegas, so he played against the Dallas Stars a lot more often than what the Canes do. So I was thinking about Carrier in this one, but I feel like it's that line. So I'm actually kind of in line with Roy from Franklinton on this one, but I'm going to go with Jordan Martinook.
All right, so Roy has Stahl in the first. Leo has Aho in the first. Matt has Svetch in the first. Dennis has Martinook in the first, and I have Jarvis in the first. We make you pick the player and the period. We should start just saying player because everybody picks the first.
Yeah, for the most part.
Which they do usually get the scoring going early. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I'm just saying we're all very confident in the way the Canes are going to start.
They actually are one of the tops in the NHL overall this season in first period goals, and I think in 13 of 20 games this season so far, they've actually scored the first goal of the game.
They've been playing well, so that makes sense. Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the indicators. All the possibility to win stats sway heavily in your favor when you score the first goal. So those are the first goal scorer predictions. We do that for every weekday game when we have a show here on 99.9 The Fan. So don't forget about that. Winner of those three gets an ultimate sim racing experience from Apex Racing Lab. Everybody else, you can still get into the mix just for bragging rights, which would be you can send it to us on Twitter, 99.9 The Fan. You can send it to us on our YouTube live stream in the comments, 99.9 The Fan live stream for every show. You can watch along with us and send them in there.
Including Travis Batts, who said he's going to go with the captain, Stahl Bunyan, playoff-style scrum in front of the net type of goal in the first period, last 3 minutes of the first period.
Sounds like everybody's thinking along your lines.
So,
of
yeah,
it needs to be a trashy,
thinking.
Just grimy, gritty, did I score? No. Let me try again. Let me smack at it again. Goal. Which, hey, by hook or by crook, I don't care how you score. They
all count the same.
You're darn right they do. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to everybody that plays along. And as always, we will make sure you get your due if you get it correct. Right now, Tim Donnelly here for Window Nation. Window Nation is bringing back its incredible Black Friday offer. 50% off all window styles. And you may say, window styles, they're windows. Oh, no, it's much more than that. You may not notice them. They may become background in your house. But when they're top crafted, when they fit the contour or the architecture of your house, you'll notice. Bay windows, bow windows, double hung, sliders, single hung, picture windows, and more. I promise you'll notice, and I promise they can help you select the ones that'll go best with your house. Plus, right now, the Black Friday special, pay no interest for 5 full years through the end of the month. And then on top of 50% off all window styles, you'll receive an additional 10% discount for Black Friday. Heating costs are going up this winter, up to 23%. And if you don't have Window Nation windows, I can't. I'm trying to help you here. There's nothing I can do. I'm giving you the answer to the key or the answer to the question. If you don't have Window Nation windows, a lot of your money is literally going out the window. So get those top-tier windows from Window Nation at a fraction of the cost of the other big names. Sale ends December 1st, so act now before this offer ends. Visit windownation.com to get 50% off all window styles plus 0% interest for 5 full years and take an additional 10% off as part of their Black Friday special. Schedule your fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or visit windownation.com to schedule. We'll take a break. When we come back, the Canes, some people say I was being negative before. Can I say they're facing adversity now? Stick around.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey from Fox & Bailey Watch Shop. This Christmas, give a gift that stands the test of time. At Fox & Bailey, we offer an exquisite collection of the finest timepieces and distinct gifts, perfect for that special someone on your list. Whether it's a sleek and modern design or a timeless classic, our expert team will help you find the perfect watch to fit any style. Because at Fox & Bailey, we know a watch is more than just a gift. It's a lasting memory. We proudly carry some of the world's most distinguished watch brands, including Omega, Blancpain, Glashütte Original, Tissot, Nomos, Hamilton, and Norqain. Not to mention that we have the largest collection of certified pre-owned and vintage Rolex watches in North Carolina. Make this holiday unforgettable with a watch or a unique gift from Fox & Bailey, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry Village District location in Raleigh.
Morning. I'm starting my health journey with my new blender. I got 2% cash back on it with the new Cash Rewards Plus card from Navy Federal Credit Union. I get unlimited 2% cash back on these carrots, apples, bananas.
It's 6 in the morning.
Oh, I also got 2% back on these smoothie glasses.
I'm going back to bed.
Oh yeah, I got 2% back on the mattress. Sleep tight.
You can earn unlimited 2% cash back on all purchases with the new Cash Rewards Plus card. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text STAPLE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text STAPLE to 321-321. That's STAPLE to 321-321.
Holding me back. Gravity's holding me back. I want you to hold out.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Canes lost to Columbus over the weekend. It's their first losing streak of the season. Both of their goalies are hurt. One of them for a long time.
Shootout loss.
Shootout loss, true. So
Yeah.
pick up a point. But am I allowed to say their mental toughness is being tested now? I'm a big believer in your team kind of needs to face some adversity. They need to face some difficulties. You never root for injuries, but you need to see what your team does when something bad happens, something's against the plan happens. And I've been trying to kind of shoehorn some of the stuff, some of that to the Canes, saying like, oh, how they deal with Seth Jarvis being out for a week or two shows something about them, or how they respond to a 6-game road trip, kind of brutal early in the season, can show how they react to adversity. And some people hear that line of thinking from me and just say, like, you're too negative. Everybody deals with tough stuff. All right, fine. And then, by the way, I've acknowledged that opinion, and I think there's some good, some right in that opinion. But now you have 2 straight, I call them, I guess, non-wins. 2 straight non-wins. Both of your goalies are hurt. One of them for a long time, another, who knows, concussion protocol that can last or that can be short. You're going into a game against Dallas, followed up by a game against the Rangers, followed up by back-to-backs against the Panthers with a travel in between. And you it's realistic for that stretch of games. You're going to have your 3rd goalie and your 4th goalie, who both might be described as AHL goalies, in net. And then on top of that, there's some play that's maybe was a little bit better early in the year that is regressing for some players. Your 2nd-line center and Jesperi Kotkaniemi looks like he's being bumped down to being your 4th-line center for at least a little bit after a bad day in the office on Saturday. So there's like, can we finally say we're going to learn a little bit about their ability to overcome adversity? Can we finally say we're going to learn a little bit about how the Canes react when the chips are stacked against them? There's a lot of questioning from the outside on what they're going to do in goal. Is a goalie move needed? Is there somebody out there that can be a little bit more dependable? And I'm not saying about play. I'm saying about availability, depth piece that they can go get. Rod Brindamore was asked, is a goalie move needed by the media? And this is what he said.
It's not really a question for me. I mean, we're fortunate that we've had Spencer here. I think feel good about that, and obviously, after that, it's we're not sure because we never had these young guys play yet, really. So, like I said, hopefully, Kuch isn't too long.
Well, I will say, Yaniv Peretz did play 13 minutes last year, saw 1 shot, made the save. Got the best save percentage in the history of the game. If the Canes had their druthers, it would remain that way. 13 minutes played, 1 shot faced, 1 save. Spencer Martin's in goal. And that goes for tonight against Dallas at home. This is a transition for Spencer Martin. He's no longer like, oh, let's rally around the new guy. Now it's, you're going to be our goalie for like at least a couple of games here. Like, you are the Canes goalie. So you're going to have to carry your weight, and that is a much bigger ask. Right? I loved the second start he made this year. It was a shutout, but there was a concerted effort by everybody to make his job easier, and they did a great job with it. Ended up being a shutout. That was in response to his first game being 5 goals allowed, and the defense particularly didn't help him out a ton in that game. Now it's more traditional. You see this happen with, like, I'll use a Panthers example. You see this happen with Andy Dalton. Right? First game, he comes in, everybody rallies around him. Woohoo! Make every play. 3 games later, it's like, well, now you're the quarterback. You kind of got to get us going. Right? And 3rd goalie comes in, everyone's like, woohoo! Sell out! Stop everything! Hey, he's back there doing his best. Let's rally. You've started like 4, 5, 6 games now. It's like, now, all right, you're one of us. We're going out there to play a game. This is, game 21 out of 82. Like, we got a lot of these to go with, and you're along for the ride. So that's Spencer Martin's challenge, is becoming a regular. Seth Jarvis is returning, activated from IR, which is a lovely bit of news. Anytime Seth Jarvis is in uniform, that is a lovely bit of news. And I think that can be a boost. That can be something that gets everybody's energy up when somebody returns from an injury. There is an element of everybody gets excited for it. You're happy for them. You've seen them go through the ups and downs. So I think Seth Jarvis's return could be that boost. But I also, I want to just point this out. This is not an easy part of the schedule. Dallas, good team. That like Dallas it puts them in a tough spot even if they were healthy, going Dallas straight into the Rangers, straight into back-to-back against the Panthers, especially with the history between the teams of the last three, meaning the 2 games against the Panthers and the Rangers. So I'm looking towards these games with a big focus on who steps up to carry the weight, who covers up the holes of some other guys. If Kokiniemi's not playing well, Jack Drury gets bumped up to the second line. Does Jack Drury take advantage of the opportunity? If Seth Jarvis is on that second line with Jack Drury, you know how their relationship goes.
Yeah,
is he carrying a little bit of the extra playmaking weight, understanding that there's a new guy up there at the second center?
Yeah, Kokiniemi had a rough day.
Rough day at the
on
office.
Saturday. The first 2 goals that were given up in the first period by Carolina, direct result of Jesperi Kokiniemi mistakes.
And Rod didn't say that explicitly, but he didn't have to. He said everything he needed to say to make that obvious. So Kokiniemi, and by the way, I said this to Dennis off air. I think part of it is because Kokiniemi has a little bit of a baby face.
Okay.
He looks younger than he is. Sometimes you think like, wow, being brutal with the young guy. Like he's been in the league for a long time now. Same draft class as Svetch. So I don't mind Rod giving him some tough love.
Yeah, literally picked 1 spot behind him.
I don't mind if Rod wants to publicly say some things to get him, like coach through the media a little bit, or if he sends him down to the fourth line. And I say that in air quotes because Rod would never say fourth line, right? He just has lines. He doesn't have numbers. But if you want to send him down to the fourth line or cut his time on ice to send a message, I'm fine with that. I don't always love that when the guy's, 21, 22. Sometimes I'm like, all right, he doesn't quite understand all of what's going on. But Kokiniemi, he's been around long enough, even though, as I mentioned, sometimes he's got a bit of a baby face, so I think of him as younger than he is. I'm fine with Rod kind of, taking the training wheels off on that guy. And I think we know what Drury is at this point. Dennis, I know he's your guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the ceiling is for him, but you know what you're going to get, right? Dependable, high floor, low ceiling maybe as a second line center from him. And it'll be more on Natchez and Jarvis to create, but I don't think anyone is saying Natchez and Jarvis aren't 2 that can create solely by themselves if they need to. So there's that line will still be just as potent. What I'm more fascinated by, and we don't have a ton of time here to dig into it, is Roslovic up there on the top line. He is an unreal goal-scoring streak right now, but it's the Aho point production. I don't know. I'm looking today as if we were doing like a Panthers Paul print about the Canes players to watch.
Okay,
the 2 I would say would be Aho and Roslovic. I want to be more conscious of their relationship on the ice and see how they're impacting each other positively and negatively. Obviously, 2 very good players. Obviously productive right now, but that would be something I would want to watch, is how those 2 interact on that top line when they're out there, particularly even strength kind of normal shifts. That's what I want to see.
It was interesting. I know we got to wrap up here, but talking to, I did storm watching aftermath and intermissions on Saturday, and talking to Walt Ruff about Roslovic because Roslovic scored in the first period. And Walt Ruff said, it's interesting talking to people up here in Columbus, because that's where Roslovic spent a big chunk of his career, was with the Blue Jackets. He's saying it's amazing to see Roslovic being a shoot-first guy, because when in Columbus, he was basically a pass-first guy. Didn't really shoot as much. But now it's just, okay, like I got scoring chances, I'm just going to let it fly. So it's interesting that it's a different style. I didn't say different style, but a different mindset, I guess you can say, from Roslovic compared to what he'd been previously.
I wonder what was the cause.
I don't know.
I wonder if the Canes brass, right, front office and coaching staff saw something that said, oh, we should bring him in here and tell him, go get yours. Or if like the first 3 or 4 went in and then everyone was like, maybe we have something here. Like I wonder if it truly was they noticed something, or if it was hey, if you're going to keep making them, keep shooting them. And then he just kept making them, so it's going on.
Everything's just been in the flow of the game. It's not like he's forcing it.
I wasn't suggesting that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just more or less speaking in terms of what he's been doing scoring-wise. But it's just everything's been in the flow of the game, and he's been set up well.
It's
just taking advantage of it.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the starting 5 to get to, and there is a lot to get to. So stick around for a high-paced starting 5 coming up after this.
The Adam Gold Show.
I'm not saying Pyotr Kochetkov can't be the goaltender, but for the next 2.5 to 3 months, your tandem needs to be better than Kochetkov and Spencer Martin. Until Frederick Anderson comes back, to rely on those two goalies to get you through the next 40 games, man, that is a recipe I don't want to taste. Get me a backup goalie for Kochetkov.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Lowe's knows you want to get even more value for the holiday. That's why as a My Lowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals on holiday decor, tools, and more. And you earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards to help you save on holiday and more. Not a member? Join for free today at Lowe's.com/MyLowe'sRewards. Because Lowe's knows deals. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Hey guys, this is Marcy Bailey from Bailey's Fine Jewelry, and we know that you want to get your wife or girlfriend something special this Christmas. But sometimes you just don't know what to get. You wonder, what will she like? What will make her feel special? What will make her say, wow? At Bailey's Fine Jewelry, we have experts that are here to help. We specialize in making you look like a hero. You can even send her in to make a wish list that we keep on file to help make your life just a little bit easier. Bailey's has the largest selection of jewelry in North Carolina, including designers like David Yurman, Lagos, Marco Biccigo, and Apolita, as well as beautifully curated Bailey's collections. And don't fret, because if for some reason she doesn't love your gift, we have a 30-day return policy. Our goal is to be your go-to jeweler for life. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, located in Raleigh's Village District, Crabtree Valley Mall, and Cary's Fenton. Also in Rocky Mount and Greenville. Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Not nearly as cold tonight, 53 as you step out for your Tuesday morning. Now, we have a cold front that moves through the area tomorrow. It's mostly cloudy with a 50% chance of rain in the morning. Our high temperature cooler, only around 68.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 440 points today at the closing bell to 44,736. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five, and we have a lot to get to, so let's jump right into it. Starting with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a double team. It's Cooper Flagg. Faces up. It scores! Cold-blooded. Cooper Flagg has 22.
That was Cooper Flagg against Arizona as Duke got their first big win of the men's basketball season on the road at Arizona. Dare I say, controlled that game for darn near all of it. Not saying they were like blowing them out, but they did end up winning by 14, and that didn't feel like, oh, that's way further than that game. Like it's not like they won by 14 and you're going, it was much closer than the final score, and that was how that game played, which is a credit to Duke and maybe a wake up call for Arizona. There's a few really good things for Duke in that one. One, Cooper Flagg, let's just call a spade a spade. He leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks per game. All 5. He's the only player in the country that leads his team in all 5 categories. And it doesn't feel like other guys are – it's not like he's the only game in town. There's some other guys that are playing well. The other thing is against Arizona, they shot 36% from 3. After shooting whatever it was, 17% against Kentucky, 36, that is plenty. With how good their defense is going to be and with the things that Cooper Flagg is going to be able to create in the mid-range and the dunks that Common Malawash is going to get, and Tyrese Proctor and Caleb Foster are going to be able to get theirs. If they shoot 36 or more % from 3, they're going to be very difficult to beat, and I think Arizona kind of learned that the hard way. Their schedule doesn't ease up. Let's continue that. Like they've set their schedule up to continuously test them in the non-conference. Tomorrow they play the number 1 team in the country in Kansas. That is no joke. The number 1 team in the country, and 2 games after that they play the number 4 team in the country in Auburn. So they're going to have to continue to build off of that win against Arizona, which is what I think they were hoping and intending when they set that schedule. Elsewhere in Duke sports world, the football team has 8 wins. They are 8-3 heading into a game against Wake Forest after they beat Virginia Tech over the weekend. Let's hear from Manny Diaz, their head coach, on the football Blue Devils being able to overcome mistakes and get the win against Virginia Tech.
It's hard to be a quarterback and throw 3 picks and have to come back out in the second half and lead a touchdown drive to start the third quarter. It's hard defensively when we gave up a touchdown drive, I guess, at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And then, without looking at the drive chart, I feel like from that point on, I think they were dominant from that point on. So these are just the things, right? It's not about perfection. As coaches, we'll fuss. We'll have plenty to correct tomorrow. But at the same time, to be able to let that go, to be able to play the next play and move on, is something that we've really taken to heart this year, and I think it's served us well.
Here's what I liked about that game for Duke football. It wasn't any one thing. It was everybody doing just enough. Offense gave them a big lead early. Defense, I mean, if you look at the way that game played out, and I'm not saying this to hate on the offense. I'm saying this to highlight the defense. The first 2 drives had an 86-yard touchdown pass on the first play and a 77-yard touchdown pass on the third play of the next drive. Offense gives them this star performance early. At the end of the game, the offense had 3 drives to put it away. They were ahead by 3. They had 3 opportunities with the ball. This is what the offense did. 3 and out, fumble, 3 and out. But the defense bowed their neck, fought back, and held on to that 3-point win. So they passed the baton. Offense early, defense late. At the end of the game, everybody gets to celebrate a win. If they beat Wake Forest, and as it stands right now, they are a 4-point favorite, opened at 4.5. If Duke wins that game, they'll be a 9-win team with a bowl game to come, which is an accomplishment. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Culliver can make something happen on the return. Oh, yes, he can. Across the 30, he gets around Connor. Chris Culliver to the other 30, and he's going the distance. Culliver takes it to the house to get the Tar Heels on the board. Woo! Good play.
That was an excellent woo. That was just a fantastic woo. I can't do that. My voice doesn't go that high. Let's talk UNC fans. Let's give you some optimism first before we break down the basketball game. UNC men's basketball beat Hawaii. They play against Dayton tonight to start the Maui Classic or Maui Invitational. Played against Hawaii over the weekend, got the dub. I low-key, right, this is kind of like under the radar, love the way the season is coming together for UNC. The hard part, the reason why I say low key is Ian Jackson and Drake Powell, they're 2 5-star freshmen, and Cade Tyson and Van Allen Lubin, their biggest named transfers, aren't really showing their impact with their production a ton. So part of me is like, I wish this non-conference schedule gave them more chance to work in the new guys. But I'm considering leveling up from players that were already around as like a new guy, right? Like last year, Elliot Cadeau was a pass-first point guard. He's unlocking another level as a scorer. So it's like, all right, the new guy is Elliot Cadeau, the scorer. Treth Symbol is what I wanted to say there.
Okay, yeah, him.
Seth Trimble, or Treth Symbol.
Him too.
Last year, defensive guy, bring him off the bench, sixth man, energy in a blast in the glass style, microwave off the bench, get a dunk, get a defensive stop. He's uncovered another level as like a more traditional scoring wing. RJ Davis is RJ Davis. We haven't seen like him go nuclear yet, but it will. It's going to happen. He's tried, true, and proven. If you do have that as permanent differences, you have Elliot Cadeau now as a scorer and a shooter at times. You have Seth Trimble as a consistent teens scorer, and you have RJ Davis. That's a great perimeter. Then you can bring along Drake Powell, who is a monster athletically, a little bit slower. You can ease Ian Jackson into being more of a high-usage player. That's great. And by the way, against Hawaii, I didn't realize this because I don't follow my Hawaii basketball a ton. They did have a big dude. They had 6'10", the Christensen. Like he's a legit scorer as a tall guy, and I think UNC just needs as many chances to play against size before they get to the conference schedule and their more dramatic non-conference games because they're an undersized squad. I will say this, Dennis, did Memphis beat UConn?
They're actually in overtime. UConn actually hit a three-pointer with 0.9 seconds left to force OT. Memphis is up 96-94 with 13.2 seconds left, and Memphis is at the line.
I believe if UConn loses that game, it'll be very difficult for UNC to play UConn. This is all part of the Maui Invitational. Mm-hmm. I want UConn-UNC.
I would love to see it.
UNC will play a stud, either Auburn or Iowa State. If they beat Dayton, they'll play the winner of that game.
Yeah.
And then if they advance even further with a win, they'll play, could be UConn or Memphis, whoever wins out of that, or 2 other teams that I don't have off the top of my head. I want to see UNC UConn, though. I think that'd be a very good matchup. The football team, UNC fans, you have lucked out a little bit. I spoke for a long time about the basketball team, which means I don't have as much time to talk about whatever the heck that was.
You're killing their mood, man.
That you put on the football field. I'm not killing anything. That the football team killed your mood. I'm just a mirror that is showing back to the football team what they did. They didn't show up. I gave so much praise to Mac Brown for keeping that team locked in through a roller coaster of a season, and they showed up against BC and just didn't have it. You might as well, go back to bed, hop out, take another shower, start all over, go again because you just didn't have it. And I mean, I'm going to be a broken record on this one. 11 carries for Omarion Hampton. You have, and I said this not long ago, I believe Omarion Hampton is the second best running back in the country in college this year. If you wanted to argue him over Genty, I don't agree with you, but I think there's a legitimate argument. Genty doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield. Omarion Hampton's better at it. So versatility plays a factor. There's something there. You gave him 11 carries and you lost by $1 billion. I don't know. If the basketball team lost a game and RJ Davis had 3 shots, I think we would talk about it. So if the football team loses by $1 billion and Omarion Hampton has 11 carries in the run game, I think we should talk about it. Enjoy basketball tonight, though. I think it'll be a nice palate cleanser for you against Dayton if you want to stay up. It's a late game. It's Maui Classic. Maui Invitational. I don't know why I keep calling it the Maui Classic. As number 4, let's jump to number 3.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is 3rd of the night.
That was back on Thursday for the NC State football team in their loss to Georgia Tech. Their basketball team's doing a little bit better. Wouldn't say the competition has been lights out.
They're getting a lot of reps together, that's for sure.
And they've finished. I don't know if this was intentional based on their roster or if this is just, a coincidence. They had a lengthy tune-up schedule. Started their season with 5 games, all group of 5 opponents, home, right? Like these games were set up for State to look good, and they did, right? So it's you did what you were supposed to do. They did look good. Beat William and Mary on Friday. It's almost like we don't know how good those games were until we see the lessons learned or not learned in the upcoming games against Purdue, Texas, and Florida State. I've been talking a lot about watching this team, trying to figure out who their go-to scorer is. One of my favorite questions for a basketball team is you're up 4, okay? You're winning by 4. It's 14 minutes left in the second half. You give up an 8-0 run. 2 threes, 2 free throws. So you go from up 4 to down 4, and you need a bucket. You just need someone to stop the bleeding, right? One more 3 from the other team. Let's say you're on the road. The roof is going to be blown off that place. Who do you give the ball to? I think that is an important question. Or what action do you run? Sometimes there's a very obvious 2-man action, right? This guy's going to set a screen for this guy, and one of them will get a shot. Hey, we're going to run this guy off a screen for a catch, and he's going to be the decision maker. What do you do? And I'm not sure State had that answer ahead of their 5 non-conference games. But I think they have a better idea of what that answer is going to be now, and I think it's a 2-headed monster. It's Jaden Taylor and Marcus Hill. They've each led the team in points 2 games out of 5. Marcus Hill led the perimeter players in the third. That was when off the bench, Middlebrooks had a big game, had 19, and Hill had 16. So between the 2 of them, one of them has had a decent scoring game in each of the 5. And I'm fine with that. You can go into clutch moments with whichever one has the hot hand out of these 2 guys, whichever one has it going out of these 2 guys. The only issue with that is they need to have really good chemistry, and they need to understand, right? You can't have someone thinking they have the hot hand when everybody knows it's the other guy, and they're demanding the ball in those moments. You need to have a really good understanding there. We've seen teams do it. We've seen teams with 2-headed go-to scorers. I want to see how that handles. I want to see how they handle it. And it might be a Michael O'Connell thing, right? Maybe Michael O'Connell is the director, and he's got 2 movie stars, and he's the one sitting there saying, hey, camera's going to zoom in on you tonight. Camera's going to zoom in on you that night, and he gets to make the decisions. And that way, as long as everybody trusts Michael O'Connell, you'll be fine, right? You got to somebody has to be making those decisions. I think the next 3 games against number 6 in the country, Purdue, which is a Final Four rematch, although a lot of the characters will have changed, Texas and Florida State, those 3 games, if any of those games are close, I'm talking 1 possession, 4 minutes or less, I think that's when we'll see how well NC State used their tune-up games. How prepared are you for when the real games get close? Tells me how much the Presbyterian game helped, how much the William and Mary game helped. That's what I'm looking for. That's number 3. Let's jump to number 2.
Just the 2 of us.
Borensky trying to work his way through. Oh, Kochetkov has run into it. He's down behind his net. And we're going to get a whistle. And that was a high-speed collision.
That was a high-speed collision. A little scary there for a second with Pyotr Kochetkov.
Yeah, I think he was knocked out.
Yeah. And
let's call it what it is.
Yeah, and as long as everything's okay, that's obviously the most important part. Mm-hmm. And then you can start talking about the hockey. Pyotr Kochetkov's in concussion protocol. He's going to be out at least for tonight and most likely Wednesday. Beyond that, it just comes down to whatever tests he needs to clear in the protocol. And it's very difficult to predict, so I'm going to refrain from doing that. And matter of fact, let's air Rod Brindamore talking about Kochetkov in the protocol.
Other than he's in that protocol, and we'll just see. I mean, you see some guys bounce back really quick, and some guys takes longer. So hopefully it's the bounce back variety.
He can be quick with it. He can. He also could take a while. You just don't know.
It's one of those things. It's not like, I rolled my ankle. Okay, I'm going to sit for a week and I'll be good to go.
There are some times where, like, as a former athlete, you do feel comfortable. It's like, oh, he popped a hammy, just a tweak.
Yeah.
All right, 3-4 weeks, and then he's likely to re-injure for the next 2 or 3 weeks as he comes back to play.
4 to 6.
High ankle sprain, you're looking at like 6 weeks because if you're around sports enough, when it comes to concussion protocol, you don't. It's so I'm not even going to try. What I do know is Spencer Martin and possibly Yaniv Peretz are going to be in net for some pretty high intense games over the next week if Pyotr Kochetkov can't make his way back. That is an interesting situation for the Carolina Hurricanes. It does bring up questions about should they be making a move for more goalie depth. It does bring up questions about Freddie Anderson missing so much time over the last 3 seasons and what is his role in the team. Brings up a lot of questions, but the answers aren't readily available. I've made this comparison a whole bunch, but no one out there is selling star goaltenders. Right, it's not like you can just go to Amazon and search for best reviewed star goaltenders and find a bunch of different options. It's why when trade deadlines come around and things, if I'm gonna yell and scream here on the show about they need to go get a goaltender, I try not to just say that. I try to also bring up goaltenders that I think will be available that they should go get. It's no different than. Daniel Jones was released by the Giants. There are Giants fans going like, we just got to solve quarterback this offseason. I'm going like, yeah, put a name to that prediction, buddy, because, there are teams that have been trying to just solve quarterback for the last 10 years. It's not that easy. Goaltender's one of those spots. Yeah, sure. If you have, Ottinger, if you have Bobrovsky, if you have like whatever it is, you can kind of take it for granted and go, hey, we've had a guy for a long time. But it's not that easy. So with Pyotr Kochetkov in protocol, you got Spencer Martin running the show with Yaniv Peretz as the guy who will spell him if he needs it. It's not just the easiest thing in the world to say, go get somebody better to sit into either of those positions. Tonight against Dallas, you have Seth Jarvis returning. And you have some skaters that are playing really well. Right, I don't want to make it all about the goalie situation, even though it's hard not to make it all about the goalie situation. If you got to score 4, 5, 6 goals to win, you got to score 4, 5, 6 goals to win. Do it. You got the talent. Dennis, I know you'll be paying close attention to anything to add.
No, I got nothing other than Seth Jarvis being back. I'm excited about seeing him back on the ice for sure. But otherwise, no, I think it's.
And just to update everybody, he'll be according to how they skated at morning skate. It'll be a second line with Jarvis, Drury, and Natchez.
Yeah, that was how the second line was during morning skate.
Kokiniemi bumped down to he flipped with Drury, excuse me. So he and Robinson down on that quote unquote fourth line. But Rod, it could be that for one shift, and then who knows what could happen after that. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go one! Here's the snap. The throw to the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. The RPO. It's David Moore.
Panthers nearly beat the Chiefs. I don't believe in moral victories. That one made me question my beliefs there for a second. It's not a moral victory. I don't believe in moral victories, but that's a darn productive loss. It's a loss, but it's one that you showed something.
You can still build off it.
You absolutely can. Like, I was trying to think of the best way to say this because it sounds a bit too deferential, but you forced Mahomes to go into the phone booth and put on the cape. You forced Mahomes to have to do the Mahomes magic thing. There are a lot of very, very, very good teams that get beat by the Chiefs, and Mahomes doesn't even have to go, flying at super speed. That little run up the left sideline to essentially clinch it for the Chiefs, that is Mahomes at his most magical. Like that, you forced them to go deep into their bag. I was trying to think of the way to describe this earlier, but there's something, if actually let's use, I'm not saying Mahomes is Jordan, relax, but let's use Michael Jordan just because he's a super well-known example. If you got beat by the 96 Bulls and Jordan took 10 shots and scored 14 points, I would be more insulted by that than losing to the Bulls with Jordan scoring 45, right? Because it's like, oh, he didn't even feel like he needed to lace up his sneakers to get us. Like, Mahomes had to do the Mahomes thing. He had to lace up the sneakers. And they're a two-time defending Super Bowl champion with one loss on the season. I wouldn't have guessed the Panthers would have forced him to put on the cape. And you want to talk about silver linings? You showed that you are neck and neck with the two-time defending Super Bowl champion. Your young quarterback led a game-tying drive late in the fourth quarter against one of the best defenses in the league, and you moved from 9th to 4th in the draft order. Like that, there's a little bit of everything there. There's a little bit of everything. I'm not going to say that Evero won't be back as the defensive coordinator, but I would not be surprised if he wasn't back as the defensive coordinator. It just seems, and keep in mind, I know that Dave Canales chose to retain Evero, but he was not somebody that chose Evero. Evero was in place when Dave Canales took the job. It's kind of like inheriting a starting quarterback. It's not my guy. I hope he plays well. I'm going to do everything to support him, but he's not one of my guys.
Kept the whole defensive staff.
Which, in part, was because the defense played well the year before, and, rookie head coach probably wanted to not be, shaking everything up. I get it, but I'll just put it, I wouldn't be surprised if there were major shakeups on the defensive coaching staff next year, which does kind of give you an out as far as if you're going to be close and lose games, as long as it's the defense's fault, it kind of feels good. As long as Bryce Young keeps improving, as long as Dave Canales' play calling and situations keeps getting better, which I thought he had his best game bar none as a play caller since he's taking over the Panthers against the Chiefs. If all of that keeps getting better and then the defense just can't hold on, it's kind of like, well, that guy's not going to be around here anyway, right? It's like, all right, that's no hurt. We can we'll use that top draft pick to get a defensive player to put next to Derek Brown up front, and somebody else will get a chance to bear the fruits of that draft pick. Dave Canales was asked by the media about the chances missed to perhaps pull off the shock the world upset of the Chiefs, and this is what Dave Canales said.
Story of the day, just missed opportunities, a bunch of red zone opportunities in the first half. We come away with field goals. Credit to their defense for stopping us, but we had some near misses, and some opportunities down there. Just you wonder what happens, if you can get those points, kind of change the game a little bit that way, and really, so the red zone, big area for us to really look at to find the finish that we need to get done there. Defensively, third down, they just were able to continue moving the sticks and giving, giving Pat Mahomes and that group, more opportunities. Obviously that makes it really challenging. So just got to tighten some stuff up there. Love the way we finished.
The 3 field goals in the first half. The Carolina Panthers had 1st and 10 at the 13, 1st and 10 at the 13, 1st and 10 at the 11. Walked away with 9 points. That's not necessarily getting all the way down to the 2, but if you get inside the 15 3 times, you need to start counting by 7s.
They only ran the ball once on those first 3. Now, I will give him a pass on that third red zone trip because
penalty.
Well, no, on the third red zone trip because
sorry, I thought you meant the third.
You're in the
play
final
of the
minute of the first half. You had 0 timeouts. You had to put the ball in the air. I give you a pass on that one. But the other ones, I'm like, you only ran one time? Once?
I'm thinking back to the first drive. It was 1st and 10. Then they ran it. Yep. And there was the short completion. I wonder what they would have done from 3rd and 4 because they ended up having a false start and it became 3rd and 9.
Yeah.
I also think when you're in that situation, kind of would have loved to have told the offense, we're going for it, 4 downs. Tell them on 3rd, like, hey, if you like, they used to tell us as a quarterback. Sometimes the offensive coordinator would say, hey, if you get half on 3rd down, like if we had a timeout before 3rd down, right now you have it in the headset. They could have these conversations with you. Like, say it's 3rd and 6. They're like, hey, if you get 3 here, we're going for it. Which kind of gave you a little bit of, like, it made it okay to check down, or it made it okay to leave the run play in if you had a alert and you could change it. It was just more like, all right, let's get 3 here and go for it. And sometimes you stumble into 6 and you get the first down on 3rd down and you don't have to worry about it. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more aggressive there simply because you were playing the Chiefs, and what do you have to lose? But still, it was an overwhelmingly positive day, even with the loss. I'm completely good with it. Overwhelmingly positive day. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we grab our numbers game contestants, Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial. And Coach Pete wants to know, right? I'm talking innovative play calling all the time. You have to be continuously learning and adapting. So don't think there's anything out there, right? I talk about Coach Pete. He's got 30-plus years in the financial arena, and he's been doing it all this time. Oh, the game has not moved him by, right? It has not passed him by. There are new life insurances out there that are completely different than your parents' version of life insurance. That's a thing of the past. And Coach Pete is one of the forward thinkers, the innovators when it comes to the game-changing amendments to the world of life insurance. How about this? Coach Pete tells me you could use the death benefit from your life insurance to pay for any long-term care expenses, and best part, tax-free. One of the many benefits of the new generation of life insurance that Coach Pete and the fiduciary planning team at Capital Financial can walk you through to make sure you find the best way to put your policy to work for you and your retirement financial future. What are you waiting for? Give Coach Pete and his team a call. Call right now and Coach Pete will walk you through the innovative new life insurances while also hooking you up with a copy of one of his best-selling books if you tell him I sent you. So call 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215. Let them know you heard about it from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan, or you can just text my name, Tim, to 600-700. That's T-I-M to 600-700. For the numbers game today, we have a $25 Autobell Car Wash gift card. If you want to win the gift card, if you want to win the numbers game, you have to call in now. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for the numbers game. Coming up next.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Natchez heads up. Back to Orlov. He scores! A 1-2 punch from Dmitry Orlov. It's 3-2 on Orlov, second of the game.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance out front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Terms and conditions apply.
Experience Hendrix. Music's great. Perform the music of Jimi Hendrix together live. Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Christone Kingfish Ingram, Zach Wilde, Eric Johnson, Devin Allman, Samantha Fish, Noah Hunt, Ali Venable, Chuck Campbell and Calvin Cook of the Slide Brothers, Mato Nanji, Dylan Triplett, Henry Brown, Chris Layton, Kevin McCormick. April 6th, the D-Pack. Tickets on sale now at dpacknc.com.
Discover the thrill of precision and elegance with Omega this holiday season. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of space, Omega's Seamaster and Speedmaster collections are crafted for those who dare to explore. With a heritage rooted in innovation and a timeless style inspired by sports, space, and cinematic legends, Omega is the gift for every adventurer. Find your perfect watch at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted best jeweler. Learn more at baileybox.com.
Adam Golden Studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. When I say everything for the exterior of your home, I mean it. So tell me everything that you have for the exterior of my home.
There's so many things I can't even remember the entire list. You know,
Good luck.
Thanks for the test here. But windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, gutter guards, railings, you name it. We have the exterior home improvement you're looking for. The main thing is we're a one-stop shop, right? So you don't have to call 2 or 3 different contractors if you need your roof done and you need your windows done. You can call one company and have it all done.
I like that. French doors.
French doors.
I like French doors. I can't speak French, but I like French doors. Can I tell you, back in the day, you guys did French doors and every window in a home I used to own.
Well, thank you for your business.
It was incredible. Can I also tell you that it was done in like 2 days? Is that even possible?
It is possible.
How do you guys do work that fast?
We're good.
You're
We're
fast.
Good.
That's Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. They do the best work in the industry and the best customer service in the industry as well. AluminumCompany.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. And with that comes the opportunity for 2 contestants, one of which will win the game and win a $25 Auto Bell gift card. We have Matthew in Raleigh and Zach in Raleigh on the line. As always, we ask a question, pick our favorite answer. That person gets to go first. Matthew in Raleigh, you get to go first in the answering of the question. What was the highlight of your past weekend? But because it's a sports show, keep it sports related.
I'm a big Ohio State fan, so watching them beat Indiana pretty handily was pretty awesome, not going to lie.
All right. There it is. Dennis, any follow-up questions? Nope, he's good to go.
Nope.
That brings us to Zach and Raleigh. Zach, what was the highlight of your past weekend? But keep it sports related.
I had a lot of failures this weekend in the sports world, but one highlight would be that Alabama got beat. I love seeing them get beat.
All right, and does it still taste as sweet when Alabama gets beat, even without Saban on the sideline?
Yeah, I don't know. Saban's a legend, so I think it's still just as sweet, you know?
All right. Dennis, which of the 2 answers is your favorite?
I will say from Zach, I love the open honesty about, hey, you know what, I took a lot of L's this weekend, but seeing Alabama take an L feels pretty good.
Misery loves company.
But I will say I'll give this one probably to Matthew.
All right.
Saying, hey, you know what, my team got the big W. Let's be real. Ohio State solidify themselves in the college football playoff.
Yeah, and Indiana, we'll see how big of a game that ends up being.
Yeah.
But it was big this weekend. So Matthew and Raleigh, you go first. Zach and Raleigh, don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just go ahead and sit on the line for a second. Matthew and Raleigh, are you ready to pick a category?
I am.
All right. The categories are NFL players with 3 capital letters in their name, spread out across their first and last name. NFL players who played their entire career on just one team. NBA players, all Chicago Bulls of the last 20 years. Or NHL Hurricanes only.
I'll do NFL players who played on one team their entire career.
All right. These are NFL players, as I mentioned, that have played their entire career for one team. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number. You will have 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Barry Sanders, Detroit Lions.
Sorry again.
Barry Sanders, Detroit Lions.
Pass.
Larry Fitzgerald, Arizona Cardinals.
11.
Correct. Andrew Luck, Indianapolis Colts.
12.
Correct. Ray Lewis, Baltimore Ravens.
52.
Correct. Troy Brown, New England Patriots.
10.
Incorrect. Barry Sanders, Detroit Lions.
22.
Incorrect. I think you were thinking Emmitt Smith. All those 90s running backs, they're like interchangeable. Barry Sanders, number 20, is the number we were looking for. Troy Brown with the Patriots, we would have accepted 80 or 86. He wore them both. I'll tell you, the number in my notes that surprised me the most, Troy Brown played for the Patriots for 15 years. I remember him as like one of those early legendary Patriots. 15 years is a long time to be with one team.
It was crazy because he started playing slot corner at one point in his career. Yeah.
He was doing a little bit of everything. So, Matthew, you got, what was that, 3? 3 answers correct. Solid number to start the week. We'll go ahead and put you on hold, see if it holds up. That brings us to Zach and Raleigh. Zach, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players with 3 capital letters in their name, NBA players who have played for the Chicago Bulls within the last 20 years, or NHL players, Hurricanes only.
NFL players with 3 capital letters in their name.
All right. The way this works, I'll give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. You need 4 for the win. Any questions before we get rolling?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Steve McNair, Tennessee Titans.
11.
Incorrect. LaDainian Tomlinson, San Diego Chargers.
21.
Correct. Donovan McNabb, Philadelphia Eagles.
5.
Correct. DeMarcus Ware, Dallas Cowboys.
90.
Incorrect. Steve McNair, Tennessee Titans.
Was it 9?
Correct. Jamarcus Russell, Oakland Raiders.
53.
Incorrect. DeMarcus Ware, Dallas Cowboys.
92.
Incorrect. Jamarcus Russell, Oakland Raiders. Oh, so close. Unfortunately, a tie goes to those who go first. It's the only way we know how to break a tie. So DeMarcus Ware was, I think, the one you were inching towards. 94 was his number with the Cowboys. You went 90 and 92, so maybe you were just out of time. Jamarcus Russell, for those of you playing at home, were number 2 with the Raiders. You got McNair, you got Tomlinson, you got McNabb. Unfortunately, just by the thinnest of margins, you're not the winner. So hopefully you had some fun.
Absolutely.
All right.
Always fun.
Thank you. That means Matthew in Raleigh is the winner. Matthew, congratulations.
Thank you. I need a car wash.
$25 gift card to Autobell Car Wash is coming your way by way of winning the numbers game. All you have to do is stay on the line and pass along a little info to Dennis.
Sounds great.
All right. Appreciate it. I'll throw this out there. Just I like to always kind of do a breakdown of the numbers game. LaDainian Tomlinson, San Diego Chargers. Whew. I thought I took like 5 seconds of his 30 seconds just saying LaDainian Tomlinson, San Diego Chargers. Also, I do my best to not like laugh or do like, because that's a clue, right? But when I said Jamarcus Russell, and we all know who Jamarcus Russell is, right? Quarterback, one of the biggest busts at the top of a draft in NFL
Clearly not
history.
everybody.
Number 2, when he said 50, I was like, no, because it struck me as funny that it's like he probably should have been a left tackle. Like he probably should have been a guard because he ended up ballooning well over 300 pounds, and obviously he had some footwork success. So I chuckled there, but didn't end up being a difference, right? Didn't come back and get it right. Didn't know, all right, I was way off. But I mean, sometimes you react the way you react, right? I can't control it with 100% certainty. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, there is so much college basketball to react to from the weekend. Duke beat Arizona. UNC beat Hawaii. NC State beat William & Mary. UNC is playing Dayton tonight. Duke plays Kansas, number 1 in the country. Tomorrow, UNC might be playing Auburn, number 5 in the country, or 4 in the country, excuse me, or Iowa State, number 5 in the country, depending on who wins at the Maui Invitational tomorrow. So there's a ton of college basketball to sort through. We are going to do just that coming up next right here on 99.9 The Fan. Don't go anywhere.
Move your sports day forward.
Come on, Coach. I know it's tough. Just squeezed out that. Yeah, he's doing it for us. He is the giant non-disposable straw that is stirring the drink, because you do not want Marty Natchez melting down like a cardboard straw in a milkshake.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer, or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift, or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Has Mother Nature taken a toll on your home? Whether it's storm damage, wear and tear, or just the passage of time, Baker Home Exteriors is Raleigh's trusted expert for all your home repair needs. From roofs, gutters, and siding to doors, windows, and decks, we have the experience to restore your home. But we don't just fix problems, we improve your home's resilience and aesthetics, giving you peace of mind and pride in your property. Visit bakerroofing.com to schedule your repair service today.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. Black Friday starts now. Trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for Watch and Tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and here we are. It's Black Friday week, and when Black Friday comes, I'll collect everything I'm owed, and what that means is at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, when you win, you get paid, and you get paid instantly, and right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if you win. So, let's do it. Doesn't make a difference had the game started or not. You can still win. There are live wagers that you could take advantage of. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Join today. FanDuel.com/AdamGold, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Guys, it's finally here. Wendy's new salted caramel frosty. It's cold, salted, yet perfectly sweet, delicious, and it's at the top of Santa's Christmas list. What? Santa has a list too, you know. And he's a huge salted caramel frosty fan. Probably why he's so jolly all the time. The iconic frosty with a salted caramel twist? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Salted caramel frosty flavored with other natural flavors.
Clean block for Middlebrooks. He rifles it full court, caught by Styles. There's a two-handed stuff. Middlebrooks with an assist on a full court pass, another steal. Middlebrooks with the ball.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Today is one of those days where you recognize we're in the mecca of college basketball. We have a Duke versus Arizona game that took place on Friday, a NC State beating William and Mary game with NC State using it as the final tune-up for a top 6 team against Purdue that they have next on their schedule. And we have UNC beating Hawaii coming into a game against Dayton tonight that we have to talk about all of these very quickly here, because by tomorrow we'll have UNC having played Dayton and either playing Iowa State or Auburn, which are top 5 teams in the country. And tomorrow, Duke's playing Kansas, which is the #1 team in the country.
That's out in Vegas, yeah.
So it's literally like, hey, we have great college basketball, and if you don't talk about it right now, it's going to be expired, because there's new great college basketball tomorrow, and more by the end of the week, and more by next week, and then they're in the ACC, and then it's all bets are off.
Such a fun time.
So we are in the mecca here, and we can become numb to certain things. Don't become numb to certain players' greatness, right? The R.J. Davis is out there, and I'll add Cooper Flagg, which you may say he hasn't earned it yet. I'll tell you right now, against Arizona, he looked like the real deal. A smooth, was it 26? 24? He's averaging 25 through the Kentucky and the Arizona game. Against top 25 opponents, he's averaging 25. But smooth, right? Like it doesn't appear like he's hunting shots, doesn't appear like he's being greedy. I have to admit, and I said this earlier, I was wrong about this Duke team. I thought Con Knipple would be the leading scorer. No, it's Cooper Flagg. Maybe I was trying to be too cute. Con Knipple can be a good scorer, and he can be a knockdown shooter, and he can be vital to their offense. Cooper Flagg's going to get his. He's going to get his. And make no mistake about it, I think Duke sets their schedule this way so players like Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg, who have not played in a ton of college games, know what it's like to face Arizona followed up the next game by Kansas. Like, they need to know what that's like, because that sounds what the Elite Eight followed by the Final Four would be like. It's just a learning opportunity. And then throw in this, their defense is the real deal. I think that's something that Duke's been missing the last handful of years. They've had, like somebody like Kyle Filipowski is a really, really good offensive player, and you're seeing a lot of it even in the NFL or NBA level with the Jazz. But I'll tell you what, his defense, this is Filipowski's rim protection. Hack, get called for the foul, look at the ref like you didn't do anything. That's not going to get it done at the elite level. Duke's defense is the real deal this year. They are, and I say this in the lovingest way possible because I am also a member of this group, they are lanky. They've got longer wingspans than height. You know what I mean? They are a lanky bunch. If they are one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the country, which I think is their top potential to be up that good, it'll be because of their defense. The offense will catch up eventually as their young guys get older, but it'll be because of their defense. And we'll talk about it tomorrow when they're getting ready to play Kansas. Elsewhere, NC State beat William and Mary. The most kind of attention-seeking thing, attention-grabbing thing that I've seen from NC State through their non-conference schedule thus far is developing what their go-to offense is. We know they're going to want to run. We know they're going to get out in transition. That's kind of how the roster says they should play. They no longer have the DJ Burns gravitational pull, so they can run. What do they do when they need a bucket is fascinating to me. Marcus Hill is a guy that averaged 20-plus, but it was at a Group of 5 school last year. Jaden Taylor was the 3rd leading scorer at NC State. I think those 2 guys have established they're going to be the ones most comfortable hunting buckets. Actually, you know what? I should give a shout-out here. Ben Middlebrooks is scoring points. Ben Middlebrooks has had a few games where it's like, oh, are you going to be the dude? I will say I'm a little bit more cautious of expecting his points to translate effectively to more Power 5 opponents. I think he's and there's 1 or 2 of these, 3 or 4 of these on most like very, very good power conference teams. They're just guys that are bigger and run better and move better than the big guys at Group of 5 schools. I think he took a lot of advantage of that. But hey, if it builds his confidence and becomes a better offensive player, I'm not going to hate it.
I think he actually came off the bench, if I remember correctly, in the last game.
He's been coming off the bench.
He's actually only has 1 start.
Not,
That's right.
Yeah.
He has 1 start this year.
And he's led the team in scoring off the bench. He had a 19-point game a few ago.
Yeah, he's 3rd overall, I think just under 12 points a game.
If I don't see him as like the go-to creating scorer. I don't see, hey, we need a bucket, throw it into the post to Middlebrooks. But Jaden Taylor, Marcus Hill, Huntley Hatfield, Dontrez Styles, if those guys are attracting help defense, you're more than capable of dumping it off to Middlebrooks and having him score. But I do want to see how that translates, right? If I think Hill and Taylor have kind of established themselves as the options when you need a bucket, you're going to need buckets against Purdue. You're going to have end of the shot clock situations. I want to see how it translates from the non-conference schedule to the more attractive, bigger named non-conference schedule.
The advantage that they have with Huntley Hatfield and Middlebrooks being able to interchange, with Middlebrooks coming off the bench, because both guys are so athletic, that Kevin Keats can still run that tempo and still press, because we're seeing NC State get a lot more fast break points than they probably had last year. I think they're actually playing, we talked to Casey Morsell about this about a month ago, they're playing more to the style that Keats wants to play in terms of the speed, the tempo, able to press after they make shots.
Let's get to the final team to talk about. UNC beats Hawaii over the weekend. Plays against Dayton tonight. I've talked about the extenuating factors. I don't even know if that's a word. The outside factors that have made each of UNC's non-conference games kind of different. I love the way their season. I don't know if they designed it this way years ago when you had to schedule these games, but it just seems like the perfect schedule for getting a team like UNC ready. They've played the big game already, right? They played at Kansas already, learned from it, had a couple of tune-up games to build off of and fix what they learned in that Kansas game. They've challenged their big guys multiple times for a roster that doesn't have the traditional bruising big that we're so used to seeing Carolina have. now they're going to Hawaii. I talked about how I love the distractions that come with that and asking them, hey, be at a luau tonight, try some food in the morning, be at the beach tomorrow. Right now, play a good basketball game. Because it sounds like the NCAA tournament, right? Or the ACC tournament, which is, hey, big win. Hey, you got to be interviewed by ESPN. Hey, here's an NIL deal that's coming through because the big game you had. Hey, play a good game, right? It's testing. It's can you compartmentalize and focus on basketball? I love it. Tonight versus Dayton, win or lose, you have a big game next. If you beat Dayton, which you should, you're going to play the winner out of number 4 Auburn and number 5 Iowa State. So what does that give Dayton? What is this Dayton game tonight? It's a trap game. It's trap game practice. You're probably looking ahead to you might play UConn on Wednesday.
They lost in overtime.
Never mind. You probably won't. You might play Memphis on Tuesday. Unless you lose, then you might play UConn. My point is you can look ahead. You can do the math. You can pay attention to brackets. But you have to show up and play against Dayton tonight. That's good practice. Mm-hmm. That's the ACC tournament. Hey, if we win 2, we'll probably play Duke. Or, hey, if we win 2, we'll probably play this team. Okay, but you got to beat Louisville tonight, right? It's the same idea. UNC is being put in every situation mentally in their non-conference schedule, which allows them, it's the dry run, right? It's you've built a boat. You got to throw it in the water and then go, all right, there's water in the back. We got to check a leak back there. There's a little spurt up here in the front. We got to patch that up. Then you take it out of the water and you bring it back to the shop. They're being tested in every situation mentally. And I don't know if it was like if there's some kind of diabolical geniuses in the scheduling world, but whoever set this schedule, if it's Hubert Davis, if it's someone else, they should 100% take a bow because I just love the way it's developing. You're seeing Elliott Cadeau and Seth Trimble become more established and consistent scorers. You're seeing guys like Drake Powell, the freshman, flash their athletic ability. I still would like to see both the freshmen kind of trusted more in these games so you feel better trusting them later on. But they're getting their opportunities kind of slowly, both Ian Jackson and Drake Powell. And you're setting yourself up to be in unusual situations. I love the way UNC is being tested. Tonight against Dayton in the Maui Invitational, tomorrow against either Auburn or Iowa State, and then whatever turns into the Wednesday game, that's all really, really good stuff.
I think when it comes to Carolina offensively, because they're so guard-heavy, we know that Elliott Cadeau is one of the best passers. He can get into the middle of a defense and can distribute the ball as good as anybody we see in college basketball right now.
And what he's doing, he's starting to build off that. If he drives into the paint and everybody's hugging their guys, he's like, all right, cool, I'll finish this bucket.
Yeah, being able to finish at the rim. But the fact that he is shooting over 36% from 3. Last year he shot below 20%.
And didn't shoot many.
Did not shoot many. And that threat wasn't there. If teams have to step out and try and at least respect his three-point shooting,
huge.
We know he can burn by guys. That's a massive thing for their offense. If he can continue to consistently, again, be respectable at 36, even 33%. If he's respectable, opens so many things up.
I could not agree more. And I think offensive emphasis Elliott Cadeau or scoring emphasis Elliott Cadeau is darn near like a new player. And he was one of those really young guys last year, right? Playing him a ton of minutes is going to pay dividends this year because they're simply a better team when they have more scoring threats on the floor. And like Withers shooting more threes, like little things like that, players that were around last year can really level up this year for UNC. And in a lot of ways, they're doing that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, is coming to a close, but don't worry. We have Overdrive coming up next, starting with just some flowers being given to Bryce Young after a big, well-executed game against the Chiefs for the young quarterback for the Panthers. Matter of fact, we updated the Bryceometer earlier today for the first time in a long time, simply because it felt good to do so. We were moving it into a positive direction. So that's coming up to lead off Overdrive here on 99.9 The Fan, kind of immediately after this. There's still Stormwatch with Adam Gold. There's still a Canes game coming on 99.9 The Fan. Monday Night Football on Buzz. Is that where you can go?
Monday Night Football on Buzz, as well as Panther Talk over on Buzz. You can watch the Canes over on Fox 50 tonight as well.
There you go for all the broadcast info. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk, Panthers Playbook, the Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
The snap, it's Chuba plowing forward, conversion good, we're tied.
tied at 27 with 1:46 to go.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate.